the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise. Strange moons circle through the skies. Much stranger still is lost Carcosa. Song of my soul, my voice is dead. Die thou unsung as tears unshed shall dry and die in lost Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise, and strange moons circle through the skies, but stranger still is lost Carcosa.
Boy, hello, and welcome to Session 6 of Murmurs at the Abyss in Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition. I am your keeper, Stu, and to my left...
Hello, I'm Kimi. I am playing Doris Daniels. I'm an adventuress, an exploress. Yes. And luckily I'm not very smart, so I've managed to stay pretty sane through all of this.
Yeah, but you kick all the butts.
I
so
do.
That's cool.
I do all the climbing and jumping and shooting, which is excellent.
I am not quite as adventurous, but my name is Jim, and I play Isadore Holzman, who is our resident archaeologist and anthropologist and professor, and is losing an average of 3 sanity per session.
So we've got 8 or 9 more sessions before you're gone, for sure.
It's like, this is only going 12 sessions, right? Because the math is not working out.
Backup characters. Oh, yeah.
All of them. I'm CADave. I'm going to be playing Dr. Edward J. Freedman, the psychiatrist, who miraculously hasn't been losing a lot of sanity. Usually, I arrive just after the insanity-inducing event, and I rationalize it away as oh, it's just a dead body, people. Come on.
I'm just the fool that walks around the wrong corner every single time.
Except for the whole zombie
Exactly.
people thing.
Yes.
That was the time that got a little rough. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that
Zombies.
one.
I frown on zombies.
That's a doctor that makes
Well,
sense.
really, you just you must have been mistaken. And they weren't dead.
Right, and then that's the rationalization I'm using to
And
keep
then
myself
the
going,
drugs
but-
the kids are on these days.
Yeah, you brought up the experimental.
No, there's this voodoo drug
Yeah.
that makes people look dead.
PCP.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Sure.
Well, either way,
That's what I'm going with.
I am Pooja, and I am playing Camilla Greenwald, a librarian, who is also reading tomes of interest.
Yeah.
Insanity-inducing tomes of interest.
8% in Cthulhu Mythos. Yay!
Oh yeah, we got a couple people with
Yeah.
Cthulhu Mythos going now, which is very exciting.
I'm
Oh.
thrilled. No, literally, I am.
Okay. Just write this down real quick. Okay. So in the last session, I have some fairly extensive notes from it. Does someone want to kind of do a little narrative thingy, or would you like me to?
I believe that the experience we had with your summation last time was somewhat lackluster in the fact that it was just a spew of facts.
That is exactly what I write down.
But they are accurate
Okay.
facts.
They are accurate.
Well, I could read key pieces of my journal.
There you go.
Okay.
Isadore and I visited a store called Morgan's Rare Books. Isadore is acquainted with the owner, David Morgan, and he has a rather extensive occult section. And while we were there, we learned that he was in possession of one of Arthur Aidan Edwards' transcriptions of Thomas's Bath pagan prayer books. The cover had the yellow sign on the front. And when we inquired, we found that Mr. Morgan actually had another manuscript with the yellow sign on the cover. So while Isadore tackled the Thomas of Bath work, I tackled the manuscript of Omar Ab-Kahil. And we both lost some sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And gained some Cthulhu mythos.
Sweet.
Omar Ab-Kahil's book documented a dream that the author had while he was held prisoner by a cult chanting to the Yellow Wanderer, of swimming in a lake, and he sees a city in the distance, and something is in the lake with him, and then eventually pulls him under, and then he wakes up. Those dreams actually mirror the dreams that Isadore has been having. In his cell, when he was taken prisoner in Turkey, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Was covered in in ramblings of the previous occupant describing the city by the lake. Meanwhile, while we were getting, deep into the dream realm, Doris and Edward visited the newspaper office, and Doris's contact told her they found the beekeeper's body in a well covered with strange symbols. We kind of talked about whether we were going to go to the old country to investigate further or stay in New York, and we decided to stay in New York to kind of exhaust our leads here before we fled the country, with a law fest on our heels. So we had one more name on our list that we had not accounted for yet, and that was Pierce Murray. Murray abandoned his apartment about a month ago, and there were some photos he left behind, but they didn't contain anyone we recognized. Agent Hoover called us in and questioned our whereabouts last night. I gave him the party line about asking people at the Sugarcane Club to confirm our alibi, and I refused to be fingerprinted because I know my damn rights.
Yes.
Doris and Edward went to the morgue that night, while Isadore and I waited at the ice cream parlor across the street. The body of the beekeeper had the yellow sign carved into it 6 times. Some of the incisions were punctures, and he was hung over the water, not into the water of the well, like the body that we found at the river. Anyone have anything to add?
When I investigated the body, one of the carved signs decided to open its eye and wink at me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was too creeped out to write that part
I
down.
apologize again.
No, it's totally fine. Because I didn't have to attack the eye. Or,
That feature brought to you by Strategicon. Thanks, dude.
I like that we can now call it the yellow sign. Also,
Yes.
I'm very excited rather than the question mark genie.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it's the Riddler in a bottle.
And I believe the session ended with a dream? And it was your 2 characters? This is sort of like the little narrative thing I did right at the very end of it?
I'm having trouble remembering.
The 2 of us?
No.
No, the two of
that
us
had
dreamed
read
of the
the-
city by the
Yeah.
lake.
Okay.
You're driving in Dr. Freedman's car. It's early in the evening. There's a swarm of locusts.
Oh, yeah, now I remember. Okay.
The locusts begin swirling into something like a tornado. And then Edward complains that he can no longer drive safely because of bug guts on the windshield, so he pulls over. You get out of the car and see that the swarm of locusts have taken, very briefly, the shape of a hooded figure, and you both wake up screaming.
Yeah. I remember that.
So we're going to
psychologically block.
We're going to say this is at like 1 a.m. on June 1st that this waking up screaming thing happens. And action.
Ah!
Wait, we're
No.
in New York City.
Yeah.
Shut up!
I said you think it slaps.
Okay.
Bobby, people are trying to see.
Phone.
Well, we are in a separate hotel room.
So are we?
I am also screaming.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe, people who wear headphones shouldn't have to listen to me scream.
Yeah.
He cued me. It was an
Your
actor's
scream was a lot
imperative.
more controlled than mine would be.
So I'm going to jump out of bed, and I'm going to go, shake you and, wake up. Wait. Are you all right? Camilla.
No. I don't think any of us are all right anymore.
It was just a dream. Don't worry about... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Just take a breath. Breathe a bit. I'm going to bring you, a little cup of water like they have in the hotels.
The locusts. The hooded figure.
More of the locusts?
There were the locusts. We were driving. There was a tornado of locusts. And they became the hooded figure.
It's just a dream, darling. Don't take deep breaths. Why don't we put something on? We'll go for a walk around the halls for a few minutes. We're here. We're in the middle of New York City. We're in a hotel. You're all right.
Okay.
All right.
A walk will probably do me well.
Yes.
So
So-
we put on clothes. And, outdoorsy kind of clothes.
Yeah.
I flip out, but I'm like sort of wrestling underneath the sheets, almost as if I feel like trapped in them. I'm trying to claw my way out. It's sort of like this very frantic, urgent sort of thing, almost as if it's reminiscent of somebody trying to swim to the surface when they're drowning underneath.
How loud was the scream? Like, was it full
No, that was a
volume
full on scream.
All right.
And he is sort of still sort
scream?
of yelling
Too
and
close,
sobbing.
I wake up. Yeah, okay.
Like your odds, yeah.
Well, I mean, I know how I sleep in real life, so yeah, there's still a chance I would have been like, oh, somebody's screaming.
But they're okay.
I'll probably think like you're being attacked,
Yeah.
the way it looks. So
Yeah.
I'm ripping blankets and sheets.
So
Are you
when,
all right?
when you do that, I'm kind of still sort of, and you see that he is drenched in sweat and tears, and he actually begins sort of like pushing you back and attacking you like you're trying to reach out, and he's literally terrified of you and trying to recoil and almost actually starts almost physically assaulting you.
I'll kind of push back and get the lights on. It's all right. Look, doctor.
Just start to look, he just sort of like starts assessing
Just
where he's
just
at.
breathe. Everything's all right. Bless you.
Bless you. Leave your mic on.
That was worse than usual.
Soundboard.
Forever will it dominate your destiny.
That was worse than usual. I'm sorry. Are you okay? I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Are you all right?
I had a very vivid dream.
Oh, my.
We were in your car. I was with you, actually, and there was a swarm of locusts. You could no longer keep driving because there were so many. They were basically coating the windshield of the car.
Oh, good
When
heavens.
you pull over, you mentioned that you could no longer move forward safely because you couldn't see. We were actually desperately trying to wipe things off of the windshield as we were going. There was some urgency to what was going on. Then we get out of the car, and the locusts begin to swirl and swarm in a direction a little bit distant from us. And for an instant, the swarm took the form of this hooded apparition that seemed to gesture towards us. But it was as real as the conversation that I'm having with you right now.
I understand.
Perhaps even more vivid.
It seems like a good rationalization type dream. The events that we're experiencing are outside our control. We've gone on this wild ride through the countryside of upstate New York and Pennsylvania. We've encountered hordes of insects and a mysterious group behind it. I can understand that could be terrifying, and the mind figures out ways to cope with these strange events.
Doctor, I'm assuming that I can trust you and that whatever we say here will be kept between us.
Oh, absolutely.
I do not wish to be branded as a madman. But the feeling, the emotional stir that this dream brought about is not unfamiliar to me. As a matter of fact, I've had dreams fairly regularly since I woke up at the infirmary in Turkey of a vast lake, and I'm swimming in the middle of it for some reason. And there's an odd city in the distance amongst some woods, and the geometry of this city I could not even begin to relate to you. It's other than saying that it's basically non-Euclidean, and almost seem to shift at the eye. And suddenly I would feel something dragging me down into the water. I also sometimes see flashes of seeing creatures, sometimes winged creatures that match the proportions of the skull that we discovered. I don't know whether I'm just superimposing images on themselves in my memory. I'm not exactly sure. But it's jarring down to my very soul, almost as if there was a dark and sinister intelligence trying to force feed me information that my mind wishes to repel like oil off water. And the type of terror is equivalent to the dream I currently had, although I've never had it before. I tend not to talk about these things because I'm afraid of how it would impact my career if it got around that I was some kind of kook who had nightmares
Trust me.
about fantastic things.
The things people dream can be far beyond our waking mind. I've had patients, you wouldn't even, they haven't invented rules about patient privacy yet, but I will follow them and not tell you about them. But the things that some people have dealt with are truly beyond measure. But it sounds to me like your brilliant mind is just trying to latch on to whatever it can from these strange events. I mean, strange people that have made themselves appear dead and have come after us in the rain. It's terrifying, and I understand. I'm sure I have something I can give you to help you get some sleep the rest of the night.
I believe that sleep is an unwelcome partner this evening. I think I'll just maybe go downstairs and see if I can procure some coffee.
I feel like at this point, like, you hear a knock on your door.
I'm like, oh, please, let me compose myself. And he walks into the bathroom, and you see the water, and you hear the water running.
I'll probably answer the door. I'm totally in the stripy, long pajama shirt.
Little hat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bother y'all while you're. I mean, obviously, it's the middle of the night.
Oh, indeed. I was awake, so fear not.
I saw the light under the door, and I hoped as such. But I wanted to come and check on Isadore.
Oh, well, he's actually just getting himself freshened up a little. He'll be out in a moment. You're welcome to come in and wait. Doctor, we have one of our companions, or did you come too?
Yeah.
Oh, our companions have joined us.
I'll be right
through
out.
the door. Yeah.
And Doris
Let me fetch my robe.
Doris is giving you the eyes of like when someone's like, "There's nothing wrong," but like smiling. Like, and whenever Camilla like looks at me, it's like, "Oh yeah, everything's fine."
So when you're the last one through the door to their room, and you hear like a scratching noise coming from down the hall behind you.
Okay. Like regular, like what kind of scratching? Does it sound like something we've heard before?
And you can make a. Is it listen? There's a listen. I think isn't there a listen? I think there's a listen.
I think it's all spot hidden, yo.
No,
Yeah.
there's a
No,
listen.
there's
There's a
listen.
listen.
Oh, ooh, yeah, I don't listen very much. Nope.
No.
Oh, seriously?
What'd you get?
She got a 40.
Oh. You don't recognize the sound, but you're not imagining it. You know that.
I hear it, but I probably just don't like clock
Okay.
it. I'm like trying to give him the "be cool, man" eyes. Yeah.
So Isadore comes out. He has his robe on over his pajamas, and has a piece of tissue that he's rubbing his glasses clean with. He's looking somewhat gaunt, and you can tell around his eyes that he just washed up, but he's been crying.
I do shut the door behind us though.
Okay.
Not in like a weird, good like you came in and I should.
Like, ah!
Yeah.
A totally normal and not at all suspicious door closing.
Just close it casual. And I go, ladies, my apologies. I'm sorry if I disturbed you. I had a bit of an incident.
Did you have the dream as well?
I'm puzzled by the word "the dream," but I had a nightmare involving locusts and the
And the
car.
hooded figure and...
Basically, his jaw drops and his eyes open wide when she says that. And he goes, "Indeed."
I did as well.
Hold on. Odd. I faint.
Okay.
I'm a little emotionally verklempt. I give myself an odd or even. Yeah. He just like goes, and just
Collapses to the floor.
yeah, collapses to the floor.
Sorry, I'm not much of a faint catcher.
Yeah, that's fine.
Doris, do you catch the falling Isadore?
I don't think
No problem.
I'm very athletic, but I don't think I'm that fast.
Ah!
Yeah.
I was ready for you to faint. I will go to my bag though and get out some horrendous smelling salts.
Yeah.
Did that on a dare once. Never again. Never got to do
Yeah.
that.
Oh, like those ammonia capsules.
Yeah.
So
Nearly
bad
knocked
it
me
brings
out.
people back from unconsciousness.
Yeah. And, you know, I come to relatively easily. I'm like... and he sort of takes a second to sort of reassess what's going on, and he sits himself up.
Now,
And-
let's get you settled in a chair.
Actually looks at Camilla and blushes. Very embarrassed.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to overwhelm you.
It's fine, my dear. I'm sorry. It's been a very stressful time, and I was still recovering from what I saw. And
My first thought was to make sure that you were all right.
I could ask you the same. I have had nightmares like this before, and if this is a new experience to you, I knew what it was like the first time I had it. It was altering.
Yes, it's definitely not the norm.
But how does that happen, Doctor? How can two people have concurrent dreams?
Well, we've all been through the same terrible experiences recently. The imagery, a hooded figure, a mysterious threat. It's not unusual. I can only say, a dream like that must be triggered from the stress of our situation. I mean, we're dealing with possibly being on the wrong side of the law. We're dealing with people that know our moves before we make them. We're dealing with unusual occurrences that have killed people. None of us have signed up to be dashing policemen off to deal with murder and crime. That's not what we're used to. I mean, I didn't even go fight in the Great War. I've never experienced this level of just shocking horror, really.
Out of character. How did you get out of fighting at the Great War?
I was in school. And I have a family with money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah.
You trumped it.
Oh. Too real.
And I'm like, And he goes over to the couch and he sits down and he sort of rubs the bridge of his nose and goes, "We are all educated people. We are all been taught the process of thinking and seem to sit firmly on the foundation of logic and what we know to be true. But also a basic element of the science which we hold so dear is that we cannot exclude any possibility in order to be able to look at things objectively. There is the idea that whatever we are dealing with is indeed beyond the scope of our reason and beyond our ability to rationalize. And the deeper we get into this, the more evident it becomes that there are forces at play here that do not play by the rules that we would normally establish to be true. I am now convinced, after this episode, that our intercedence in these situations has exposed us to something malevolent, sinister, and aware of us and our opposition to it. The gaze of that eye, frankly, withers me. I'm questioning the level of commitment that I have towards this endeavor and the fact that perhaps I am not the best suited person to be able to deal with it.
Well, it is the middle of the night. I'm not sure now is the best time to be making large decisions like that. We've had quite an emotional evening. I think perhaps the light of day, a bit of coffee, might put things, if you'll pardon the expression, in a different light.
Outside of the fantastical portions of what we've been going through, as you mentioned, the legal aspect of our situation has made me extremely anxious. I am a foreign national and of a race that is not common to this place. And although I have enjoyed the good graces of patrons and people that have been very kind to me, I do not believe that your government would think twice of ridding itself of me if they thought I was at all a threat or a nuisance. So I'm also faced with the idea of losing everything that I know and hold dear on a practical level. One can see why one would not be able to sleep through all of these stresses. But the one thing I know is that I have survived this along with you due to your fellowship. And there have been several times where all of you have contributed to my well-being, and I appreciate you greatly. And I am so desperately afraid that my time here is limited that I wished to express that to all of you and my deep affection. Since this traumatic situation has brought us closer together. I will not say that I would not trade this experience, but I wish that we would have had a similar experience under better circumstances.
I think we can all agree with that.
Yes, indeed.
Perhaps some coffee does sound very good to me.
And Isadore, I do believe that you are stronger than you give yourself credit for. And more resilient.
I appreciate your faith in me. But it is embarrassing enough to be a man to simply faint at utterance of a word, but to do so in front of ladies is even more vexing and frustrating and embarrassing, and my apologies for my reaction. He just looks very embarrassed.
Don't. Never mention it again.
Don't worry about it, Isadore. It's just fine.
But thank you.
I've seen much stronger men do much worse.
At the very least, I know what it is, and I know that I can address it, and that I am honest with you and myself. That is the best I can do at this point.
That's more than most do.
Let's compose ourselves. Let's get ourselves something to calm our nerves or to settle us. I do not believe that sleep will be joining me for the rest of the evening.
Well, I think a city such as this will have somewhere that we can congregate.
So yeah, I'm just gonna put like a shirt and a jacket and some pants and
Okay.
and just go, and even if and I'm wondering, does the hotel have 24-hour room service, or is there anything like that?
There's probably an all-night diner across the street.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Some greasy eggs and some coffee sound really good.
Get a very strong cup of tea.
Is anyone else going with them?
Yeah, I'll go.
Well, I think
I think we're all
you are.
going.
Okay, all right. So you'll go across the street, but I mean it's
Oh, we don't open the door and face.
No.
no.
Just
Something.
scooching.
Good. I was really hoping so.
So you get down to the lobby, and then, I mean there's like one guy behind the counter there, of course. You go outside and you see the all-night diner across the street. So there's no traffic or anything, of course. Across the street, you all go inside. You go in last again, and you hear it, and it seems to be coming from an alley, like just down the sidewalk a little bit.
I'm gonna roll natural world, I guess,
Okay.
and see, like, can I identify? Does it sound like claws? Does it sound like?
Okay.
Like
What does it
rats.
sound like?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, dang.
Oh.
It's the middle of the night. It's a 92. I don't give a shit about nothing. I just want some coffee.
Okay.
Doris, is everything all right?
Yeah. No, it's fine. Just weird noises in the night. Definitely need a good cup of Joe.
You know what they say about New York City rats?
Yeah.
Big as a small dog.
Yeah, I saw one dragging a slice of pizza the other day.
Okay. So you go ahead and go inside and have some greasy eggs
Yeah.
and biscuits and breakfast food.
But actually, what I do to sort of cheer myself up is I start telling them stories about my childhood at the royal court in
Oh,
Russia.
okay.
And how, like, and then, the Tsar actually noticed me and blah, blah, blah. Just sort of like trying to take myself back to a simpler sort of time where I was happier and more at peace, and I'm just telling stories of that. And,
Okay.
It's vaguely interesting. I would assume I'm not a great, Isadore's not a great storyteller. But, I think that he wants to keep his mind busy talking, and I don't know how you guys react to that. He's just like going, well, back in the day, blah, 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 blah.
And go ahead and recover a point of sanity for that.
Oh, great.
13 sessions.
Yay! It's gonna bust up the average. Well, night ain't over yet.
So as soon as he takes a breath, I'm going to start talking about my child. No. That's the mechanic.
Yeah, listen politely. Like like stories about people's childhoods in foreign countries.
Yeah.
Despite being raised and educated like she was, Camilla's never been to a foreign country.
And and you bring that up, and he goes, "Well, it's always been odd because my country, my family ancestrally comes from Germany, where we're part of the Ashkenazi diaspora, and my father, who was an educated man, and married a woman very similar to you in that she was an educated intellectual, didn't actually hold office at the university, but helped with research." She was a wonderful woman, and I miss her dearly. But I never felt like I actually nationally belonged in any one place. I always felt somewhat away and different. And I think that coming from a people that sort of don't have a home, I think that's sort of a universal truth for my people in general. And that you never felt a place of belonging. And I think that's one of the reasons why I got into archaeology, because if you go far enough back, everybody comes from the same place. And I think I sought out that truth, and I think I still seek it. These eggs are beautiful. This rye toast is beautiful.
There is nothing like properly toasted toast with deliciously salted butter. So much butter. Camilla has continued to butter her toast.
Never tried chicken fat
Excessive
on toast.
amount.
It is delicious. Schmaltz.
Chicken fat on toast? That sounds fantastic.
So
Really, like, I mean, I know that you, Isadore, I mean, obviously would not necessarily appreciate, but nothing beats a good, like, is some strips of bacon, and then the eggs cooked in the bacon fat, and then the result poured upon on your toast in the morning.
we are very stringent and very, and as a matter of fact, this meal itself might actually be a bit of a stretch. We are very conscious about what we take into our bodies, and although all I can appreciate is the smell of bacon is extraordinary. But if you haven't had a properly done pastrami, that's pretty good too.
I mean, you haven't lived until you've had a proper pastrami.
Absolutely.
Proper New York pastrami.
Or a knish. Or blintzes. Oh, blintzes are so good. But
We're
yeah,
just on a culinary journey.
we're just on a culinary journey.
Okay.
So,
So,
yeah,
As
just
we have
chit-chatting.
completely diverted the game
That's
into
what-
normalcy and comfort food and just comfort in general.
Yeah.
Feels like a very natural reaction after dreams like that.
After everything we've been going through, you know, some like, oh, you know what, let's reach out to each other as human beings, because everything is so inhuman right now.
The 1920s version of going for the shawarma.
Indeed.
well,
Shawarma.
you're there for a few hours, and then the sky starts to get that sort of very like deep blue glow just before sunrise, and you can see there's dark clouds in the sky as well, even in June.
Now, just as a refresher, the plan was today we were planning to get our tickets and try and leave town to head across the sea.
That's what I recall, yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, I think we've kind of exhausted our
Leads.
leads here. Like, pretty much.
Well, we spent a lot of time
everyone,
last session just making sure we can book a passage and get the heck out of here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty
We're
much
ready to pull the
everyone we
trigger.
knew from the Manhattan area is dead or vanished.
Yeah. And we gave the FBI heads up that we were planning on leaving. If you need to talk to us, do it before this time.
And they did.
Yeah. We're not fleeing. We're fully cooperating.
Hoover did ask to inform him of your travel plans, just to let you know.
Yeah. Well, I will as soon as we.
Technically happened.
Yeah. Is this clean? Because I changed my mind about the port.
It's port, whatever's in there. I'll take care
It's
of
just
it.
alcohol, right? It's all good.
That's how it works, right?
Don't even worry about it. Oh, you can eat that jerky. No, I'm kidding. I want to eat your jerky. I just say I'm not scared of it. I ain't scared.
I am.
I mean, I will if you're not
I
going
will
to.
as well. It's jerky.
You guys, look.
It's not like an expired.
I
can
am
of
too
fish.
damn busy to deal with some kind of.
Are there gases puffing up the plastic?
No.
No. That means that there's no bacteriological infestation.
Sure. All right. So morning eventually comes. The streets start to fill up with cars and people. People start to come into the diner for breakfast. The place. I mean, you were the only people here besides the cook and one waitress.
We've made friends with them now.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Now, is the crust of that pie made with the shortening, or...
All our pies are made with bacon fat.
Ah, bastards. You brilliant bastards.
Best pie crusts are made with lard. Just deal with it.
Well, if we're going to procure our tickets across the Atlantic, they will probably be opening fairly soon. Might be able to
This is good.
make our plans and get our luggage aboard before noon if we hurry.
What day of the week is it again?
Friday.
Oh, it probably would be a sailing.
Yeah. Well,
So, that we'll go back to the hotel and arrange for them to transport our goods
Back to where?
to a dock.
Okay. The RMS Baltic is leaving tomorrow, Saturday morning. That's the headed to England. That's the next ship out.
where's it going? Liverpool?
Who's the owner?
RMS Baltic. I don't know. Probably a British concern, I would imagine. Red Star Line. Is that still a thing? I don't know. In
Red Star
1920.
Line. That's like the Soviets.
No, I don't think so.
The White Star Line.
Yeah,
The White Star Line. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting on that shit.
Yeah.
Tui.
Oh, it is a White Star ship.
Yeah.
Very good.
I looked it up. It existed.
All right.
I didn't look up who owned it.
No, I was just curious.
We're going to take your car with us.
No.
That's dangerous. Driving a car with the wheel on the left-hand side in a place where everyone drives on the other side of the street.
Yeah, man.
That's asking for a bent quarter panel.
It's the RMS what?
RMS Baltic.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're traveling in a good time of year to travel.
Yeah. So I will attempt to procure a stateroom.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some money from the university for saying.
I'm happy to.
Those of you who
Toss
are
in as
wealthy this is probably within your daily spend.
Okay.
Those of you who aren't, this will probably use up a lot of your stipend from the university.
Well, I wasn't expecting to get like 10,000 square feet of cabin. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I was.
There's like one of those. And it would still cost like $5,000 in 1920s money.
No, she wouldn't go quite that far.
But
And you can take occupancy the evening before if you prefer, if you like, because it's leaving early in the morning.
Yeah.
tomorrow morning? Oh, okay.
So we could stay there tonight rather than paying for the tickets and then paying for the hotel rooms again.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, let's make the arrangements, transfer our goods.
Okay.
I'll pay to park the car. And then make a phone call to the FBI office
Okay.
that our departure is tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. They tell you that they'll make sure the message is forwarded to Agent Luke.
Very nice.
So you get they transfer all your stuff. You guys gonna go spend the rest of the day? Yeah.
Before we leave today, like before we go to the ship, I want to go visit my mother's grave.
Okay.
Since I definitely won't be seeing it for several months now, I
Right.
want to take
And
the
I
last
actually want to go to
opportunity.
synagogue before we leave too.
You're gonna go.
Synagogue?
Oh, okay. You can recover. Have you lost any sanity? You can recover a point of sanity.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So you're gonna do the Friday night service?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would that get you? Oh, I guess that's not your thing.
Well, no, I mean, I already got some sanity back, so I'm very cool. That was very generous to begin with. So,
diner food, man. Magic.
It heals everything.
It does.
Actually, there's very little you can't get over about spending some time with some good friends over a meal and just recovering. I do want to pick up. I want to buy a nicer suit, or even maybe like sort of like a relatively low grade tuxedo.
Oh, okay. All right.
I already have several changes of clothes. I'm going to have them laundered beforehand and then pressed and packed in preparation. And I'm also going to make sure that the shipping company knows that I'm Jewish and require a kosher menu.
Okay. All right.
It's not a bad idea to, because we didn't pack for it, but for a few days trip.
Right.
That after the visit to my mother's, I will go by the Sugarcane Club and call in another favor to borrow some appropriate clothing for a journey, for an extended time away.
When you dress for dinner, what would be the appropriate thing for a woman to wear at that time? Would it be like a gown or a gown? Okay.
Think like Downton Abbey dinner.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like bustles and
No.
Right.
we're not titled.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it'd still be formal dinners.
Very likely.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
likely.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I specifically said I didn't pack
The white tie.
but
Right.
now I have to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to sit at the captain's table, you're probably going to have to white tie.
Yeah.
So there can be time for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do... I feel like I probably had a little bit more clothes, just because that's sort of how my character's appearance is very important to her.
Right.
But she'll probably, before we go shopping a little bit, also stop by her publisher and let them know where she'll be, things like that, how they can contact her.
Okay.
And I'm also going to see if I can send some telegrams overseas to my European contacts and let them know that I'll be in the continent and I may drop by for a visit.
Okay.
Especially people that might be interested or have knowledge in these fields. So other archaeologists and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I think I'd said I had a telegram to the nurse, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Raisinets. I
You
have
never had a raisinette? It's just a chocolate-covered raisin.
I have chocolate covered espresso beans in there. I'll bring some of it up in a second.
That look was brilliant. Ooh.
Very crunchy.
I ate a whole quarter of a pound of them once at a
geez.
game session. That was the worst, very terrible mistake.
Yeah.
I took my mom a couple of years ago to get Vietnamese coffee. And she loved it so much, she ended up getting a second one. And I'm
Oh
like,
no,
"Mom, you
this
shouldn't do that."
is a bad idea.
And then went over to Sandina Mall, and she just crashes. I mean, crashes. Almost falls asleep on the bench.
It's like when you have
home.
like Greek coffee, and you're like, "This is delicious. I would totally like another." And then you're like, "Why am I vibrating?"
Yeah.
So you go back to pack the rest of your stuff. And you do one like you do the one last sweep to make sure you didn't forget anything.
Yeah.
And you hear the. But this time it's coming from the door.
I'm going to pull out my Colt.
Okay. They have peepholes in the doors at this time, right? Or something? Do they
They
have
do?
those?
You say
The little
peephole?
peepholes?
I don't know if they'd have peepholes. They might have a little.
Yeah,
a little,
Yeah.
a little
It's so
hole
like it's
that
a
you can cover.
door that you can open that's tiny,
Right.
as opposed to the giant door.
Or even just like a hole with a little weep.
Yeah. I feel like that's
something like that.
a terrible idea, but she would do this. So,
Okay.
like me playing Cthulhu, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't do this. But she would do this. That's what she's going to do. She'd look through that and see what's there.
Dave, cover your eyes. No.
You're going to act it out that horrible?
The
Not take off the headphones, but cover your eye.
you don't see anything, but you can hear it.
Rats in this expensive hotel. will not be staying here again. I think she's just gonna like leave it at that.
Okay.
Point. She doesn't see anything. She's not gonna be like. She's gonna put her Colt back and be like, "All right, well, never mind."
Well,
Then.
there ain't nothing
Okay.
for me to
The
shoot.
newspaper, the
Whips the
newspaper
door
will be
open and
here.
plug a rat in it.
The newspaper will be hearing about my terrible experience with the rats.
All right, so you grab your last
Yes.
bag and you do your last
Yeah.
pass of the place. Everything's packed.
Yeah, and then I'll go out the door.
Okay. Make a spot hidden roll.
Too bad. Too bad.
It's not really hidden. I just want to see how you perceive it.
Oh,
Oh,
a 3.
Okay.
You perceive
Great.
it very, very, very well.
Yeah, I perceive
Accurately
it.
understand the
Rather than seeing a mass of like giant tarantulas, you realize it's a dog with hair that looks like a mass of giant tarantulas.
All right.
Looks like that.
spider dog,
That's not.
spider
A,
dog.
that's a
It's got like
cute dog.
dreadlocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like a dog with dreads.
Oh, okay. So it's not a horrible. It's
Here, hold
actually.
it up for
It's
the
actually a
viewers.
dog.
Was it a Commodore?
What kind of dog?
It's called it's a Hungarian Puli.
Okay.
Oh,
In a Cthulhu game, when you're trying to describe a cute dog, maybe don't
you say a
describe it
tarantula for
as
a dog.
tarantula. I'm like really legit. Like, oh, it's a tarantula.
It's a
for-
dog that legitimately has
has
tarantulas.
spiders
that
as
are-
tarantulas. Yes, it's not. So it's
Well, some of the pictures. That one's not quite as, but I mean,
I'm just saying it's adorable.
it's a real
Oh, it
dog.
is
though.
adorable.
It's not a horrible monster.
it's a real dog.
I just want to tell you this too. You are actually effectively terrifying all of us. You don't have to really work any harder at it. It's okay. We're all in.
And it sits and goes.
Well,
It gives you a doggy smile.
Hello. What? She's gonna like look around and look for the owner. What?
No collar either.
Right.
It's not wearing a collar.
How big is it? How big is it?
It's like 30 pounds. Is that if Dahlia wasn't
Okay.
enormously fat,
Okay.
it's about her size, maybe a little smaller.
Okay.
It's about
For
the
everybody
size
on
of
there,
it's about the size of
Dahlia
like a
Stu's
junior.
enormously
Okay.
fat dog.
All right. Well, she's gonna like pull a belt out of her
Oh sure.
her
Oh,
bag
thank
and like put it around its little neck, so it's got a little bit of a lead or something.
Okay.
Does it have a collar on it or anything?
you. No collar.
Okay.
And it looks like its hair is kind of matted,
Oh.
like it's been out
Uh-huh.
for a while.
Okay. Well, I guess.
But at least it hasn't been to the groomers in a long time.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna need to get you cleaned up. Look at you. And get you some food. All right. So I'll go down and tell the bellhop that I need my stuff delivered to the ship, and also ask if there's like a pet groomers or something. Do they have that? I'm sure
Of course they do. Yeah.
For as long as there have been pets, there have been rich people paying other people to take care of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is what I am now. Excellent.
So we're bringing the hellhound on the boat, huh?
Word.
Yes, we are. And a cute dog shows up in a terrifying game.
Now,
you've
this is a good tactic.
It's
The zombies, not fun.
adorable.
Yeah.
It's adorable. I don't know how you could ever think that it might do anything wrong in its entire little life.
I'm immediately reminded of the aliens from Attack the Block.
Oh yeah.
They're just like a black void and snarling UV light teeth.
Yeah, like the canine type
Yeah.
maw with these UV light fangs. That
Those are
movie
very
was
cool.
excellent.
What a
It's a
great
really
movie.
good movie. Yeah, I'm at the groomers.
Okay.
Getting cleaned up.
Okay. They tell you it'll probably take them an hour and a half. This is a big job.
It's good.
And they charge you extra because long-haired dog.
I haven't had a dog. I don't probably know what extra is.
Right.
So, all right.
They're like, hey, what's your credit rating? You can afford $74 today.
While I'm there, probably.
No, when you walk into a shop, never show them your character sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, while I'm there, I'll buy a little collar for it.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
You gotta name it now too.
I know. I have to think about that.
They probably have. They probably have like bones, like not freeze dried, but like dried bones with chunks of like jerky like meat on them and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
probably.
Nice.
And
We have
Sow's
leftovers
ears.
from the butcher
sow's
down the
ears,
street
yeah.
Yeah.
at a markup.
At that period of time, the attitudes that we had towards our pets were very, very different
Yeah.
than they are today.
Yes.
but it being a person of means taking care of a pet totally makes sense. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, my mother grew up on a farm, and I mean, you have dogs and cats. They have a function.
They have a job.
If they're not doing it, why do you have them?
Yeah, the cats are going to do their function regardless of whether you want them to or not.
That's true.
Yeah.
In fact, like, they don't actually care about you, but they're really good at making you think they do.
I think they fooled us into thinking that they're domesticated. They're not domesticated.
Cats
Okay.
eat you.
So you guys all do all your shopping and
They take longer.
expand your wardrobe and stuff, and it starts to get close to nightfall. You're staying probably a little later. I mean, the Friday
Sundown,
it starts at sundown. Okay.
right? I think it's sundown to sundown, right? For
The Shabbos starts at
Oh, yeah.
sundown, I believe. Okay. All right.
So nice to say.
All right. So we'll say a few hours after that.
Okay, perfect.
You guys all make it back to the ship, and there's as you're like coming onto you go across the big gangplank probably is what thing you jump off of. Gangway probably. I don't know.
Gangway.
Gangway. Okay. You go across it, and there's a nice big sort of lobby area where there's concierge is probably called pursers, I would imagine, on a boat, who would direct you and help you find your room, your cabins, and things like that. And they have
Quarters.
right. Oh, of course,
Quarters,
yeah. And there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of people getting on to spend the night before the boat leaves in the morning. Ship, sorry. And there's one of those tripods with the sort of framed poster, like in the center of the lobby, and it says that tomorrow at noon. There will be a shooting demonstration by Pawnee Bill of Pawnee Bill's Wild West Show. And make probably an intelligence.
See if I know that person.
Add a bonus die to it.
Okay. And you add the percentage one, right?
You add a 10, you take the lower of the
Okay.
two.
I always do that wrong. Nope. 90.
No, that's the... So this one is the 10, and that one is the 1.
Yeah,
Oh.
You need another 10's die.
You said the 10, so I actually switched it. I grabbed the right one.
No, that's a 1's die.
I don't think of it as the
You
place
teach
value.
children!
I know, but I don't
Never
think of it as the
mind.
place value.
Never
It doesn't
mind.
matter. They were
It
the
doesn't
same.
matter.
90 or 90.
Yep. Yep, that's exactly what
Wow.
that is destiny right there. is what
You don't
that
know
is.
anything
I don't
about
know.
Pawnee Bill.
No, we don't. There's a picture. He's a slightly portly man. Looks like he's probably in maybe his early 60s. He's got the hat on and the big handlebar mustache.
His wife, Leslie Nope.
And it's and it's got the big long block letters with the giant two thick serifs. It's sort of like the Old West side sort of. But they're going to be doing a skeet shooting
Like a
demonstration
Buffalo Bill type
off
guy.
the one of the decks off the stern of the ship.
Okay.
Oh, how exciting.
And it says it will be featuring trick shooter Desdemona Bassetti.
Okay. Well,
And that's tomorrow at noon.
yes. Yeah, it must be nice to come on these ships as the paid helper.
So Pawnee Bill and Desdemona Bassetti.
Bassetti.
I was
I
close.
was not ready for this.
Well,
And this is sort of like an inaugural sort of celebratory event because they're going to the Pawnee Bill's Wild West Show is going to do its first European tour.
Yeah. When I'm also going to get a little tag for the dog
Okay.
that says Derlith. It's the dog's name.
Okay.
Gurlith?
Derlith.
Durlith.
It's a
With
shame we
D.
found this dog in June.
2 more months.
Yeah.
those listening home that don't know, August Derleth was one of the Call of Cthulhu, or the circle of part of the circle of Lovecraftian writers.
Yes. Many authors contributed to the mythos and the different elder gods, etc., etc.
In fact, Hastur predates
Yes.
Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, the King in Yellow predates that.
Okay, so there's of course dinner in the. There's probably more than one dining room. There's probably like the grand dining room, and then there's probably like a normal people dining room. Let's say, or I don't know what you would call it. They probably have, but they have more than one. I mean,
There's a first class dining room.
oh,
second
there you go.
class, third class.
Depending
Yeah.
on what class.
What class you're traveling?
Right.
But by now they stopped calling it steerage.
Probably.
I mean,
Alright.
didn't they call it that for the Titanic?
That was 1912.
Oh, yeah, I know, but we're not that far gone from that.
I mean, it was just
No,
10
no,
years
but-
ago.
But like that became after
Oh.
all of the people died. That
That
started
sense.
a whole
Okay.
Right.
It
thing.
was a marketing
Rather than make
nightmare.
it safer, let's rename it so it doesn't seem as terrible.
Exactly.
Because that's
I mean,
way
because
cheaper.
how
Because that
gosh.
does not cost
How
a
gosh.
penny.
Because all these ships were still built
Yeah.
pre. Like Titanic was legit supposed to be the safe one.
Yeah.
So they serve dinner, and it's a grand spread, as you would expect. Even in the like second class and third class, probably third class is probably steerage, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And and the food is fantastic.
I must know, did we all travel in the same class?
I don't know. Did you decide to blow all of the stipend from university? If you do, you probably are all in
Sue.
first class.
Don't make me make decisions on how this character spends money. Because
No, the real question
apply, and I don't
is.
want
So
to
the real question is, did Doris and Edward decide that we were going to take up the same rooming accommodations that we did, like arrangements that we did while we were in the city,
All right.
and that Isadore and Edward roomed together, and Doris and I roomed together?
I feel like we probably would.
That's probably likely.
That's perfectly fine with me.
yeah.
Okay, so then you probably all are in first class.
Yeah.
Because your daily spends are high.
Yeah.
Would you like to know what's on the table?
Sure. What's on the table? Did you look up the menu from the Baltic? Because it
No,
did
no.
take off around this time in 1923 from New York.
It did.
I looked it
I
up.
don't have one from the Baltic, but I have a first class dining room menu
Oh,
from the
okay.
Titanic.
Okay.
So the first course would be oysters.
Which I can't eat.
Second course would be a consomme Olga, which I don't know what it is, but probably just like beef consomme, or cream of barley soup. Third course would be a poached salmon with a mousseline sauce and cucumbers. The fourth course would be filet mignon, sauté of chicken lyonnaise, or vegetable marrow farci. The fifth course would be lamb with mint sauce, roast duckling with applesauce, or sirloin of beef with chateau potatoes, green peas, creamed carrots, boiled rice, and boiled new potatoes. How delicious! Boiled potatoes.
I mean, technically, like, it just depends on how much salt you put on them.
And butter.
And butter.
A sixth course would be punch romaine. I hope that that's not like some kind of beverage made from lettuce. Seventh course would be roast squab and cress. Eighth course would be cold asparagus vinaigrette. The ninth course would be a pâté de foie gras and celery. And the 10th course would be Waldorf pudding, peaches in chartreuse jelly, chocolate and vanilla eclairs, and French ice cream.
Wow.
Probably
That's so
made
many
up.
courses.
Yeah. Because you would sit there for hours because there was nothing else to do.
True enough.
Yeah,
I mean, books still existed. Let's be real.
But if you're there for a week, your day-to-day... I'm sure there are book-inclined people that could have entertained themselves, but there are still many people that would not be so entertained.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Plus half the cost of traveling in first class is the connections you'd make.
Okay, that I'll give you that.
Yeah.
You are in a confined space with a whole lot of other people, so
Is-
yeah, you network like crazy.
One of the things that rich families would do if they had children, specifically girls, to marry off, is they would have them travel a lot, because for 6
Put them in
weeks, you're
put
on
them in
this-
compromising situations with eligible bachelors.
Yes.
Oh my god.
A punch romaine, 1 egg white, 1 ounce of white rum, half an ounce of simple syrup, half an ounce of fresh lemon juice, 1 ounce of fresh orange juice, champagne, and orange peel.
That sounds great, except for the egg.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
you
it's
get
like-
the
it's
foam.
It's whipped. It's like an
Yeah.
egg cream.
Oh, okay. That's still not great, but better. I was just picturing like an egg. I was like a protein drink where you just
No,
crack an
it's
egg in it.
I'm sure it's whipped.
Yes, no, I'm sure. That's better.
I'm excited. I will maybe attempt to make them next time.
Oh,
That's
there
exciting.
you go. Yeah.
As long as there's
No
not
romaine
juice.
lettuce in it.
No.
Not one
I was
leaf.
more excited about like, all the other things.
Yeah.
Like filet mignon.
Or,
Well, I'm not going to make a 10-course meal for the game.
No, I question your dedication.
I do too, quite frankly.
I see.
Okay. So after the meal, that goes on into the evening, and then the pursers or whatever they're called probably inform you that there's the bands will be playing in the whatever that room that would be called, ballroom. That would be the ballroom. for
I
those
actually
who
go, Miss Camilla, would you join me in a dance?
It would be my pleasure.
We'll do some dancing.
Okay, awesome. Excellent.
I think I'd go to have a smoke
Okay,
in the smoking lounge.
exactly.
Perhaps meet Pawnee Bill.
No, that is a
That's what I'm
question
on the
that I
lookout for.
had. I hate to backtrack us, but
Sure.
did we notice anyone else of note in the first class dining room over the several hours that we were there with our 10-course meal?
Recognizable. You're pretty sure you know which table has Pawnee Bill. He's not wearing a cowboy hat indoors, but he's talking loud. He's using his outdoor voice inside, and he has a laugh like that. One of those.
I like him already.
So I mean,
Yeah,
you
man.
can definitely see that. You can see that table. There's a woman sitting next to him. She looks like she's in maybe her mid-20s, and she has kind of long, curly black hair. She kind of has a dangerous look to her. She's very serious, and she will sort of like smile at his jokes, but she's mostly like looking around the room.
I wonder if that is Desdemona.
And they're also there. You see obvious, there's a whole table of them, academic types.
Oh.
And you probably look over at them, and they probably look over at you, and you'll go. You know,
I know you
probably.
stink.
Columbia.
But kind of up closer to where the captain's table is, and seated at the captain's table, you see some people who are dressed in white tie, and some of them have sashes with sort of emblems on them, and all kinds of ribbons and
Bedazzling.
that sort of thing that you see.
Diplomatic bejeweled.
Exactly, yeah, monocles and such.
Yes.
I mean,
It's hard.
I'm sorry, were you referring to my quizzing glass?
Well, it's easy to tell who aren't American on the ship. You just have a bow on you.
Or you're not quite as loud. Just I am disturbed by the boisterous nature of the gunslinger guy. I find him to be crude and
they're
brash.
The whole table, except for the one woman sitting there, they're all pretty loud and boisterous. And as the night goes on and they have more drinks, they become more so.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad, Isadore. It's part of their show. The louder they are now, the more attention they get, the more people who come to the show. It's part of the gig.
They're the ones that are acting boorish. Therefore, they're the ones that shouldn't feel bad. I feel fine.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
Western.
I'm sorry. It's a question of upbringing. It disturbs me to see that kind of behavior.
No.
I can't fault anyone for making their living.
Nor can I. And I've always been a supporter of everyone being themselves. I'm just unaccustomed to the behavior, and I can only imagine my mother's face.
Yeah, well. I'd bet a new silver dollar that isn't their real personality anyway, so.
One could hope so.
I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on them throughout the evening.
Okay. So back to the ballroom.
Yeah.
And to the smoking room. And Ed, are you smoking a cigar? Are you smoking cigarettes?
Either a cigar or a pipe.
Okay.
One of the two.
Okay.
Go with the pipe. It smells so much better.
Yeah.
It depends on what's available.
They have whatever you want.
I feel like Doris has like a weird combination of an outfit on. She's got like a really nice dress on, but she also probably has like a gun belt with like her Colt, but it like matches her dress.
Okay.
Because it's part of her gig, like, is to be like this adventurous and like to stand out a bit and things like that.
Ballroom open carry. I like it.
Yeah, I know.
Her.
Not a derringer in the garter.
Yeah.
No.
Not at all. So
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Full on 45 in your face,
Yeah.
dog.
and I probably kind of buck tradition and go into the smoking room with.
Okay.
And I'll go with.
Please.
Yeah. Dave's good.
And while you're there, Pawnee Bill comes in, and he sort of sits down in a chair and lights up a cigar, and then he kind of go. He pulls his revolver out and he sets it on the table next to him because he was sitting on it.
Yeah. No, that raises Doris's eyebrow. Sitting on your gun. This is the trick shooter.
The trick shooter is Desdemona.
Oh, okay. But isn't he? Doesn't he?
Pawnee Bill
He's
is
a
the
speed
first
shooter.
build.
Oh, got
but
it.
the
Okay.
trick shooter is Desdemona.
Got it. Okay.
He's probably better with a long rifle or shotgun.
Yes.
I mean,
Or
what
before he's-
fool isn't good with a shotgun?
IRL? Many people.
I've done plenty of shooting, Penny, and I'm telling you right now, yeah.
I'm sad for you.
Actually, there's shotguns are very dangerous in the hands of idiots.
Yes.
Every gun is very dangerous in the hands of idiots.
True
I have
story.
also done considerable amount of shooting.
What
And
would-
shotguns are.
But yeah, but I'm just saying that the potential for collateral damage with a shotgun is far more than with a rifle or a pistol. I'm just saying, and people tend to swing those things around like
Like
they're not going to
morons?
kill anybody. Yeah.
What was your father's name? His first name? I don't have it in my notes.
Yeah, I feel like we came up with it.
I don't think we did. Was it
I'm actually
alliterative?
going to be putting together a shoot pretty soon.
Probably.
if you're interested.
Dylan?
Dylan Daniels. Yeah, that's good.
Dangerous Dylan Daniels?
Yeah.
My.
Deadly Dylan Daniels.
Okay.
Deadly Dylan Daniels. Oh, that's awesome.
Of the Daniels Wild West show.
This is what he rolled to recognize you.
Oh, he rolled a 2. That's because I'm more famous than he is.
And he looks and he says, "Young lady, may I ask you a question?
Yes, you may, sir.
Your visage, it appears..." Oh, just dropped down to my goddamn head.
It's okay. That's very
Take your
character.
time, man.
It appears,
Strikingly?
Oh, he has been drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Just intermission.
let's all go to the lobby.
I wonder if I may ask you, was your father Deadly Dylan?
Why, yes, he was. Are you a fan?
And he was wearing his hat in the smoke. He takes his hat and says, "Young lady, I would just like to say it is an honor to meet you. He was one of the finest shooters I ever... You know, he and I did share a stage for a time.
Indeed.
In Oklahoma and also in New Mexico.
Oh.
He was one of the finest shooters and a very fine man. I'm very honored to make your acquaintance."
Well, I appreciate you saying so. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, I did not catch your name.
I'm looking that up.
God, that
I'm
is
looking that
awesome.
up right now.
Shade.
My name is Gordon William Lilly.
Oh,
Pleasure
very
to make your
nice.
acquaintance.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I did see your poster when I was coming in. Very nice to meet you. This is my friend, Dr. Freeman.
Good evening.
Very nice to meet you, sir. What are you a doctor of, sir?
Medicine and psychiatry.
Ah, an interesting field out here.
Unfortunate that it's required, but very fascinating. The inner workings of the mind.
Indeed. Now, if I may ask, I do remember around the time you were born, your father said he was going to teach you to shoot. Did he, in fact, do this?
Yes, he did. I haven't had as much practice with the trick shooting as he did. Rather than staying in show business, I've taken to pursuing careers in traveling the world and exploration. So when I shoot something, it is in fact in defense and to kill it. But I still have a few tricks from my childhood in there.
Would you join us for our skeet shooting exhibition tomorrow?
Oh, I'd be delighted if you'd, accept someone who's a bit rusty.
Oh, I can guarantee you can't be as rusty as I am.
Well, I suppose we'll see tomorrow then. Well, thank you for the invitation. That would be delightful.
Indeed, it was an honor to make your acquaintance.
Indeed. And I look forward to your show as we cross the Atlantic. Is this your first time?
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. In fact, this was my first time on the East Coast of the United States as well.
Oh, indeed. Yes, it is a mighty big change from the West.
Indeed it is. Oh, and I should say, and he puts his hat over his heart, and he says very sincerely, I was very saddened to hear of your father's passing. I would like to give you my condolences, even though this is many years late.
Well, thank you. It warms my heart that there are still people who hold his memory so dear and remember his name so well.
Indeed. And he picks up his brand and says,
I didn't want
to
to
your
like this
father.
guy, but I kinda like it.
She does the same.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah, I know. I was ready to be.
Yeah, I know.
He's just Western. You gotta get past the Western. Knock the trail dirt off.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to get past the Western. That's about as Eastern as you can get.
Yeah.
When it comes to this culture in general.
So, I can I keep hanging out and smoking?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna look around after our dance is over, and I'm gonna look around and see if I see Desdemona.
Oh, yeah. She's dancing with someone. It's someone from that table. It's not Pawnee Bill, but it's one of the... And he's dressed in a very westernly stylized tuxedo.
He's got fringe.
I mean, like, I don't understand
He's got a
what that would
bolo.
be.
He's got wearing a bolo.
Okay.
Rambo.
And after the dance is over, he excuses himself to go get them drinks, and so she sort of...
So I kind of like meander over to her.
Okay.
I don't believe that I have had the pleasure of your acquaintance, but allow me to introduce myself. My name is Camilla Greenwald.
Oh, I am Desdemona Bassetti.
It's very nice to meet you, Desdemona.
Very nice to meet you.
Am I correct in thinking that is your poster that we saw?
Ah, yes. Yes, it is.
I couldn't help but feel that you may have had a keener eye than the rest of your table at dinner.
I do not... She doesn't seem like she knows how to speak English very well. I do not understand what you mean.
Does she speak French, maybe? I try a little bit in French, like an overture in French.
On a 2, yes, she speaks French. Okay, so you're now speaking in French.
Fantastic.
And she says it's a habit from her early days, her early life in Italy.
I understand. I have the same habit, though unfortunately not just from early days. How long have you been traveling with Pawnee Bill?
I've been traveling with him for 5 years, and I've been trying to convince him to bring the show to Europe because it would be grand success.
From what my father tells me, they are much deprived of the arts of the firearm.
Yes, and there's also a morbid fascination with the culture of the American West. They find it interesting to look at.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
And she's not being complimentary about it.
Like a car wreck.
Yes.
You just can't look away. Where did you learn your talents, if you don't mind me asking?
Pardon?
If you don't mind me asking, what brought you to the Americas from Italy?
Well, I had pursued similar work in Europe, but of course, such shows are very, very rare. So I came to the United States and joined Ponyville's show. I have talent with guns and also writing.
With writing?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of writing?
Horses, trick writing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Out of character. Thought she said writing.
Oh, no.
Not riding.
Okay.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm sure it was a great pleasure to watch you jump.
Oh, yes.
It's too bad that on the confines of the ship that we are confined to seeing your shooting talents.
Our horses are here, but I fear it would probably be too dangerous. The ship is too crowded to bring them out.
Of course, of course. We wouldn't want to injure the animals in any way.
No.
Though, are you planning to bring your show through France at all?
Oh, yes. I don't know if we have dates. Our original dates are in Liverpool and in London, and then we're working. We have an agent in London who is working on dates further on the continent, hoping to get home as well to visit.
I'm sure. Do you have much family left?
Oh, yes, quite a bit.
Family is so important.
It is indeed, and I have not seen them in many years now.
That too, I understand that feeling. If you happen to run across in your travels, of course, Pierre Labard or Jean Labard,
Mm-hmm.
if you would do me the great favor of giving them my best.
Certainly. She actually takes out a little journal and writes the names down very dutifully.
And of course, if I were to go through Italy, I would love to convey my regards.
Oh, and she tells you the Basadi family, and she tells you the little town that they're from. It's in northern Italy. And then the guy comes back with the drinks.
And I make my leave.
Okay.
Are any of the academics that we saw in the dining room out here as well?
They're in this. They're all in the smoking room, which is adjacent, because you want to have your aerobic exercises right next to your smoking room.
Oh, yeah,
It
absolutely.
is the 1920s.
I thought you were supposed to smoke during.
Right.
No, the gentleman would just light up in front of a lady. Any more than they would drink port in front of a lady.
I retired appropriately.
Right. But yeah, they're out. They're in the smoking the smoking lounge.
They're not trying to get themselves saddled with the vibes.
And they're speaking in German.
Huh. I don't speak German.
There's like 3 of them.
I do not speak
I think
Deutsch.
I'm specifically getting myself drunk.
Okay.
Like, that's a goal for today. It's the first time, like, I feel like, oh yeah, crazy cultists aren't going to come out of the woodwork.
Right.
That you know of.
Right, yeah, I mean, but the chances are very low that they would have been able to foresee us booking tickets and getting on a ship and going.
Well, the ship's still on dock. Remember, this is the night before the ship leaves.
Yeah, okay, but I'm still feeling good about the chances
Sure.
of them not.
He feels protected by class because the chances of cultists being able to afford first class accommodation. Oh,
He feels protected by class because the chances of cultists being able to afford first-class accommodations and make it to the dining room is very low.
I wouldn't have thought they'd be able to deliver bees to the garage of the plaza either, but so they were.
That seems more realistic than them actually being able to afford being here, though.
Your character doesn't speak German?
German, no.
What do you have?
Oh, let's
Russian,
see.
British.
I have Russian, English, Turkish, Egyptian, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Latin.
Okay. All right.
None of which cover German.
No.
It's interesting. Sea travel with horses was like very stressful for them. They had very high mortality rates. So the early 20th century, when research was carried out by the U.S. Army Veterinary Corps, and they suggested restraints and stuff because I guess they kept them restrained, like in the below there,
Right.
was not a good idea.
Oh, yeah. That's like tying someone up and putting them in
Yeah, for weeks. Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure they. Oh, yeah. Especially in the late 19th century, they would have to. The cavalry would have to. You're not going to go find the. You're going to need to take them with you.
Yeah.
Oh, the debacle with Roosevelt in Cuba, trying to get the horses off the boats, was. There's a whole day of story just involved in trying to get the horses off the
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's what that's one of the things it says here. It says, especially like getting them off the boats because they didn't have, like gangplanks and stuff. They'd have to like take them off, like
Crane.
with
Yeah,
a
they'd
crane,
hoist them
Right.
out.
and so they would
So
get
they'd be
hurt a
dangling
lot.
with little feeties.
Yeah,
They couldn't see the sky, so they forgot what they were. Firefly?
I know.
The cows?
Yeah,
Now they can see the sky, they know they're cows again.
that's not how that works.
Okay.
That gets even more ominous in a Cthulhu game.
Right.
I mean, seriously, that was like some twisted shit right there.
Fucking cultist cows.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen a herd of cows? They're not. It's not nearly as nice as you think it would be.
You know, when I was a teenager, I went and visited. My uncle had Black Angus. He had probably 20 head of cattle, and I did not realize how strong their sort of herding thing was. And I was over there hanging out with them, and then I got called to lunch, and I start running back towards the house where we're having lunch.
And all the cows
And I
started
hear
running.
this thunderous noise behind me, and I slow down and I turn around, and they're right behind me. They all stopped. As soon as I stopped, they stopped.
Yeah.
But they're all right behind me, looking at me. I'm like, and then
better if they weren't trying to make eye contact.
All right, don't let anybody know.
it's cool, man. Just keep on going.
they probably figure I saw a predator.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
exactly
you took
what
off
they-
running.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you just out of nowhere just start running.
They're gonna, yeah.
When I was a kid, I had to hook up a dead cow to my great aunt's tractor and drag it out to the road
Yeah.
because they had a guy that would come around on
Don't
Thursdays.
pick up dead cat.
You have no time for your dead cow stories.
Okay.
All right. So the evening goes on. Anything anyone want to talk to in particular, or we
No,
go ahead and
I'm
fast
still going to go over there and try to talk to the academics
Okay,
once she
all right.
peels away to talk to somebody else. It's just,
All right.
I'm just curious who they are.
Did they also roll a 3 in their language?
No. What? Like by the time you get there, there's like 2 of them there, and so you go over, and one of them, how do you approach them?
They're in the smoking room, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to grab a cigar, and I'm just going to light it up and gentlemen, good evening.
Oh, and one of them, he's kind of tall, blonde hair, real pale. He looks Norwegian.
Okay.
He says, "Oh, good evening.
Professor Isadore Holzman. I
Oh.
just pull out my hand.
Dr. Axel Richardson.
Doctor.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
A doctor of medicine or...
Psychiatry, medicine, yes.
Oh, I have a traveling partner that shares your profession, sir.
Oh, do you indeed?
I do. What's your name again?
He's
Full name?
probably here. Probably something.
Yeah, we're
Edward
in the room
Freedman.
too.
Dr. Edward Freedman, right there.
Oh,
Professor Holzman.
Dr. Freedman. Perhaps I could have chosen a better time. But yes,
Very comfortable lounge.
it is indeed, sir. But and like I sense the accent is from north of the continent.
oh, yes, indeed.
We are from Ravenhearse University in the United States.
Ah, I have heard of this. Yes.
I'm a professor of archaeology.
Ah, a fascinating field.
Indeed, it is quite so. If you do not mind, may I inquire as to the purpose of your travel to the United States
I
and
would.
therefore return?
It was a holiday. A holiday. I'm going back to my work in London.
Mm. You practice psychiatry there? Do you teach or
Research.
Oh.
Research currently. Yes.
fascinating? Is there anything that you might be able to tell us? I'm certain the doctor and I would be more than pleased to hear what kind of research you're conducting.
We've been doing research on dreams, specifically shared dreams.
Well, that's fascinating.
Our meeting seems to be somewhat serendipitous, sir. For I've had a very similar experience to that. Perhaps we can chat about it. I'm certain you'd be fascinated to hear.
Oh, certainly. I'm not the expert in the field. My associate, Dr. Kistler, it is his program that I'm working
Is he
on.
aboard?
No. He's in London.
Well, we'll be heading to London as well. I'd be happy to speak with him afterwards if you'd like. If you
Oh,
find
certainly.
whatever I have to say interesting.
Certainly.
And I said, "May I?" And I
Oh.
see. And I go. And
The other guy who's sitting there with them, he's like going. Clearly does not speak English.
okay. And it's like, I am sorry. I did not mean to disturb you, especially since there seems to be some linguistic barrier. I do not wish to be rude.
Oh no! If he's been drinking. If he has questions, he will ask. I will answer them.
I'm certain that the desiccant state of the United States has left you wanting, and I would not wish to disturb that repast. But I had a situation actually last night. If you would have please excuse my visage, I have not had much sleep in the past 24 hours. But I go on to describe the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go on to describe that our colleague and librarian at the university had the exact same dream. We went over in detail at practically the same time, within meters of each other. And I go, what does your research say about this? I was asking my good friend here about it, and he said that since we've been experiencing similar situations, that it may have psychological ramifications along the same lines. But what do you feel to be the cause of this? And indeed, how popular or how common is this type of thing to happen?
We have found this phenomenon to be rather rare, but we have had we have done studies where we provide information to when people tend to have these sorts of dreams that tends to recur. So we will give a specific piece of information to one person to pass on to the other person during the dream. And while it is rare, we are sometimes they are able to convey this information from one to the other. So it is as if their consciousnesses at some level are somehow linked.
So it would concur with Jungian psychology and the collective subconscious, where we are literally all linked within a sort of overlapping mental state which can be communicated or shared within the dream state. Perhaps,
yes.
That is fascinating. Do we know at all what triggers this, or is it just random happenstance?
Well, that is in fact Dr. Kessler's main line of inquiry now. And it would not be my place to
Oh, of course. I would not presume that this is. We want to deal with facts and not
Certainly.
interpretations, of course. But please, and I pull out my calling card and I write down the hotel we're planning on staying at in London. Here is my information. I would be fascinated to drop by the university where you're doing this research and speak to a good doctor. If you would pass this on to him, I would be much appreciated.
Of course, absolutely. He would definitely. This phenomenon is very rare. So if
The person that I shared the dream with actually is a traveling partner, so I would be able to bring her along if she's interested. Of course, I wouldn't. But she is.
that would be even more valuable.
A very learned woman, and I'm certain that she would be fascinated by this line of inquiry as well.
Indeed, and that would be a very valuable contribution to what we're doing.
Oh, fabulous! I always wish to contribute to the realms of science in any way that I can, of course. And if there's any way that I could help, I'd be happy to do so. Well, it's been very interesting speaking to you, sir, and I hope that we speak again in the near future.
Indeed, perhaps tomorrow evening for dinner we could share a table.
That would be lovely, and you can meet the rest of my traveling companions.
Oh, excellent!
I'd be happy to introduce you.
Very nice to meet you. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Thank you.
Sweet.
Okay.
He seemed like a very nice man.
He did seem like a very nice man for a German.
I'd probably been.
We just fought a world war.
I was about to say, like,
I'm just
the Great War
I'm just-
had just happened.
Yeah.
They just spent a good number of years trying to vilify these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just starting to ramp up for the second.
Yeah.
I probably was like in the corner, like regaling people with tales. Much more classy than what was happening in the dining room. But,
Right.
Come over and. Are you all right, Dr. Freedman?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just feels so relaxing to be aboard the ship.
Yes. Well,
Know that we've got at least 5 or 6 days, right? How long does this take?
2
yeah, 2 weeks.
I don't know how long it took.
I think it's only like a week
Yeah.
at this point.
I know in the United States that was a real fast ship because they kept trying to build faster and faster
Yeah.
ships to make
Yeah,
the Atlantic
SS
crossing.
United States, yeah.
And the first trip it made, because it at the time broke all the speed records, and a lot of the passengers complained that the cruise
Too short.
didn't take long enough. Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah,
Well,
but
if you're going to pay that much money.
Right.
Yeah. It says here. Wait, it said it on the blurb, and I can't find it. It says the Queen Mary reduced crossing time by half a day to 4 days. Liners reached there, and that was by the early 20th century, 1907. The liner Merencia, with a capacity of, well, we don't care, was able to cross the Atlantic in 4.5 days.
Okay.
A record which was held for 30 years until the Queen Mary reduced the crossing time by half a day.
Okay.
So it's like 5 days. Most of them took about 5 days, it says. Fascinating. That's a lot faster than I thought it would be.
Really, I just wanted to say
2 weeks.
Right.
Yes. That was going to be my guess, though, was about that. So we have 5 days. Okay.
Well, I'm sure
The advent of steam radically changed that.
if we needed to make the crossing and we were just jumping on like random freighter
Yeah.
or like
Oh yeah,
That would
a
be-
heavily laden ship is probably doing it in 7 or 8 days.
yeah.
Well, the thing is, these liners are some of the fastest ships on the water
yeah.
for a reason, and that's why they ended up using the Queen Mary and a bunch of other ships like that as troop transports. And
My
medical
uncles went over to the
transports.
World War II on
Yeah.
the Queen Mary.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they got to visit it. It's a lot nicer now. They painted it gray.
Yeah.
Yep.
also, it's fancy on the inside.
Yes. Little rundown now. It's a little rundown.
Yeah, they
Well,
let
it is an old boat.
Yeah, and they just let anybody play there now.
Yeah.
No standards.
Okay.
That's what we could do. We finish.
Lower our
If we
standards?
don't get off the boat by the end, we could do our next one as like a remote game.
That'd
From
be
the
so
Queen Mary.
fun.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be very cool.
And right around the corner from my house, that'd make me happy.
I would carpool with someone.
Yeah, I'd drive. All right.
Anyone doing anything else this evening, or
No, I think we've
fast
done
forward?
enough.
Okay. All right.
I realize I made the mistake because I forgot we hadn't left. Or They
Right.
probably actually wouldn't serve alcohol tonight.
Oh, that's probably right.
You may have your own supply.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be uncouth about
Oh, that
getting wrecked in
That's true.
public. It's not just okay.
right. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure not the only one.
Yeah. You were on opiates.
There you go.
That's fine.
You
You
drank
dipped into the
laudanum.
bag a little, you know? Just take the edge
Oh.
off. Just take the edge off.
I've never been to Europe.
Smoke
A
the
little
J on the
nervous.
port side.
I'm going to see, just niggling at the back of my mind, that is anyone, when I take a scan around, and no one I met in the dining room, no one matches any of the photos that Pierce Murray had. Like, no one looks familiar.
Go ahead and make a spot hidden roll.
That's a good and horrifying question.
That's a 30 under my 65.
Oh.
Nice.
No one. Did you guys keep the photos? Okay, yeah. Then definitely, I probably would have given you a bonus die for that. But you didn't see anyone that was like.
Well, I wouldn't just pull them out of my reticule to, like, compare.
So you just hold on there. Just
Outside, as everyone's going into dinner, you have everybody lined up. No, all right, you're good.
everybody's in queue. You're like,
Dave,
Stamp their
you're
hands.
a doctor, so you
Crazy
actually
TSA.
could write a prescription for having alcohol.
Yeah, indeed.
And that would be perfectly legal.
But I can't do it for myself.
yeah,
Can't you,
can.
though?
Yeah.
No,
Even back then?
ethically not.
Oh.
I
Okay.
forgot you're an ethical doctor.
Ethics weren't invented until the 30s.
This is why you have friends.
That's like the meme. Like being an old timey doctor must have been fun.
Yeah.
You've got ghosts in your blood. Try this cocaine.
You've got the otter fever. Whatever we
Just,
make up,
you know.
it's true.
I'm just saying that, like, a lingering sense of dread from this morning or the wee hours of last night and
Yeah.
then no sleep and then coming to this ship has made me a little
Edgy?
paranoid.
Yeah.
No, that's perfectly justifiable.
Yeah, understandable.
Somebody in this group has to be ultra paranoid. I elect you. You're good at it.
I write things down. Apparently not all the things.
I am very sad that when we got our points last time, I didn't gain points in either of my firearm skills. It's
Ah.
been very helpful for this.
I get.
I'm not sure how I didn't gain any points in Spot Hidden.
I got some points in spot hidden, but I sucked at spot hidden.
That does
I
help.
did as well. It was real easy to raise it from 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
35, which I had was jackass crap.
But I actually got better at psychology and biology.
Cool.
I got 5 points in fighting brawl because I tried to drop a lighter on a zombie.
All right, so that evening, you'll go back to your
Yeah.
staterooms or
And I'm picturing them kind of like in Titanic, where it was like she was sharing a room with her mom, but they both had their own like sleeping rooms.
right.
And a
there's
shared
it's like a suite where there's like
parlor.
a shared yeah.
I mean, it is first class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not sharing a chamber.
So
Maybe I'll get to sleep tonight.
Oh, and I'm definitely taking my dog everywhere with me.
okay. You named the dog Derlith, right?
Derlith,
Okay.
yes.
I probably would have commented about the appearance of the dog
Yeah, yeah.
at some point. Like, you have a dog? You bought a dog in New York?
Oh my god, this dog is so cute. I'd be like, all playing with it.
Very well behaved. I didn't buy the dog. I saved him. He was in the street, and there was a cart that was going to run him over, and he was looking so sad, and I just had to like,
Do you mind if I give it a treat?
no, yeah, go ahead and
I can't eat this, but you
And
can.
he's like, scoop him up, and yeah, so
I mean, how could you not fall in love with this face?
Look at this bitch. Look at this face.
It's a street dog.
not anymore. He's been cleaned
Good.
up, and look how well behaved.
Technically now he's a ship dog, right? Yes, you good boy.
He's probably got a little ribbon too. They probably at the groomer put a little
Yeah.
ribbon on.
Oh. How beautiful.
Who's a boy?
Oh, I'm still very weirded out by the appearance of a dog that's now just part of the group. Like, that's a stand I will take, for sure.
Okay.
I immediately fall in love with the dog.
Yep.
And actually,
I
a
mean,
little
the
bit
real
jealous that she
question
has a dog.
Who's a good boy?
I have a vote, but I'm partial.
Okay. So sometime during the night, you all have a dream.
Oh, great.
You are riding in Dr. Freedman's car, and you pull up to a burning barn, and this is at Carruthers Honey Farm. Mm-hmm. It is fully engulfed. You all walk up to the office door, but you feel no heat from the fire. And then Doris opens the door. In the interior is the New York City coroner's office. And you all walk in, and there are 6 slabs there, each one with a body. One is the old man Carruthers, which you saw before. And he is on his back, and he has the incisions of the symbol that you saw before. On the other 5 slabs are the corpses that you found in Carruthers' barn. Unlike Old Man Carruthers, their heads are turned toward you as you enter the coroner's office, and their eyes are open. 2 of them are horribly burned. Standing in the middle of the room is a woman, perhaps 30. She's short, maybe 5 feet tall, and she has long black hair. And it's worn in the fashion of colonial New England, and she's wearing an ornate yellow dress. She walks to Old Man Carruthers' corpse, and she gently rests her hands on each side of his head, and then kisses his forehead. And then she says, He hath been consecrated, his flesh made holy. Then she walks away through a door on the opposite side of the lab, and you all follow her. Now you're in a Catholic cathedral. But there's something wrong with it. There is a crucifix behind the altar, but it is inverted, and the Christ figure's hair is hanging down from his head, and his face is twisted in agony, and his mouth frozen in a scream of pain. His eyes are blazing yellow, as if he were jaundiced. Along the walls of the cathedral hang plain yellow banners, and the woman in yellow is now standing behind the altar. And she raises her arms and says, Behold, I am the consort of the king clad in yellow. As I walk each footstep, I walk between millennia. As I walk through doorways, I walk between worlds. I am the unseen. I am the unknown. I am she who walks between shadows. And then she disappears in a flash of fire. And you're all still standing there.
I walk up to the altar.
Okay.
And I look around. Is there...
There is on the altar on the top right corner is a single candle lit. And sitting on it is a piece of paper. And there's something written on it.
Stu.
Yeah.
I read it.
And it says, Songs of the Hyades shall sing where flap the tatters of the king must die unheard in dim Carcosa. Song of my soul, my voice is dead, die thou unsung, as tears unshed shall dry and die in lost Carcosa.
Okay. I take my Star of David, and I attempt to slash the paper with it.
Okay. You can tear it up.
Yeah.
And you all see this happening in the dream.
And I basically do a passage from the Torah, which is like a protective blessing.
Okay.
And I try to take control of the dream that way, I suppose.
Okay. All right.
This is very strange. I didn't know
You're now standing in the synagogue.
No. It's very strange. I didn't know I knew any Jewish prayers. Well.
You do now.
It's a disappointing dream after such a lovely evening. time to wake up. She closes her eyes. It's like trying to like.
Okay. You all wake up.
Oh, damn it, wait. I probably wake up and say that.
Right.
Oh, damn it, wait.
Sorry, I wasn't really expecting that to work. So I was kind of like.
I'm not sorry.
I was going to try and pass along, like, my first pet's name.
Oh.
I just sit straight up in the bed.
Okay.
I'm like, Doris, are you awake? Doris, are you
I'm
awake?
going to
Doris?
rush over to the ladies' cabin.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I'm awake, Camilla. Are you all right? Did you have another nightmare?
I dreamt of Carruthers Farm.
Did
Yeah.
you? Oh.
Just
Oh,
a minute.
I'm gonna put on my dressing gown or whatever it is.
Yes, dressing gowns.
Yes.
Get, even more decent. Seeing his nightgowns were like long-sleeved high-necked affairs.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? The only way to prevent random sex is to have at least 3 layers of cloth between you and another person.
Some of it laced.
Yeah.
That always slows you down.
There were no zippers back here. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes. Hello. Who is it?
It's Professor Holzman.
Open the door. To the suite.
I had another dream. I was curious to see if you had the same. There was this woman clad
At
in yellow.
Carruthers Farm.
Yes, the fire, and then
And Doris?
It's very odd. I wish we were at sea so I could have a drink. Yes, I had a similar dream. Was it actually you? Were you saying the prayer?
do you know what the prayer is? Can you repeat it?
Well, you know what? Probably. It's probably a little burned in.
Yeah, I probably don't know what it means, but
No.
I'm like, can I say it?
Yeah.
It's like the phonetic pronunciation.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Il Nahoyu.
indeed, exactly.
Why is
correct.
this night different from any other night?
Yeah. The one verse from this.
Like that is it indeed.
Well, that explains how I knew that. I was a bit baffled. Well, that's interesting. A shared experience in a dream state. Perhaps it was the salmon.
It's always bad fish.
Perhaps a bit of undigested meat. I go. Oddly enough, I was speaking to another scholar who works in London. And they're researching the concept of collective dreaming. Once we reach the shores in England, I have arranged for us to be able to speak to them about the subject. I think that we might be that it might be illuminating. There's a Dr. Kurtz, I believe, who's doing some extensive research in this.
Oh. That is very interesting. Not sure necessarily want my name on such a study as a test subject, but
Well, test subjects are hardly ever named for their protection and anonymity, and usually it's considered to be more professional to maintain their anonymity, so
that's good.
their backgrounds cannot infect the actual research. But nonetheless, if you wish to omit yourself, it's certainly fine. But I do plan on visiting them. I wonder if the good doctor has experienced the same thing. I was in such a rush to see if Camilla shared the same dream that I ran off without consulting him. One moment, I'll return momentarily, and go over there and try to collect you.
I think I'm
Doctor.
probably gone. Like, I'm not there.
Okay, I come back to them. The doctor is gone.
Gone.
He's not in our suite.
Like, I'm roaming the ship. A, looking for you. B, getting some air.
I'm going to see if I can find where he is, and I will return shortly. I'm going to go around looking.
Very well. What time is it?
Probably 2 a.m.
Is
God
it the
damn it.
same time as last night?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's like maybe an hour later.
All right. Well, I'm going to try and get a bit more shut-eye. So, if you can't find him, do come back though, because we should find him if he's
Absolutely.
upset.
If I do not return, assume that I have found him and we are safe and sound.
Excellent.
I am going to paint a picture of the woman from the dream.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead and make. You have a skill in that, yes.
I have art and craft guitar.
I thought you did painting.
Yeah,
I know, which is weird because,
had
like, I thought
watercolors or
that,
something.
like, because I carry watercolors on me and I watercolor things, but, like, I don't.
Well,
I didn't take a specific skill in it. I took guitar instead, which is weird.
If you can change, you can change. If you want to change that, you can.
You haven't actually used guitar yet. So.
And
Yeah.
I never will.
But go ahead and make a roll with a bonus die.
Yeah, and then we're going to mess up on the flamenco level of this dungeon.
Now you face the king in yellow.
In
At the crossroads,
I did not make it.
I was just turning it
Oh,
into the
That's
devil.
a
down to
40 over my 20.
even with a bonus. Okay.
The other one was a 90 over my 20, so
Oh,
I'm just,
okay.
taking that loss.
So you finish the picture and you're like, I need to work on this more. It's like not quite. You know it's not quite right.
I grab Derlith and I go back to bed.
Okay. Who wants walkies? He's like,
Okay.
You know, I'd be happy to
I
take
wanna
him
be
for a
good. I
walk while
really
I'm
wanna
looking for
be
the good
good.
doctor if you'd like.
Maybe, if you offer, I will. 100%
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would feel safer with a dog with me in general, and yeah, he loves animals and is enthralled with
Awesome.
puppy.
He's just going to freak me out more.
Oh, hello, doctor. I'm here with a demon dog.
He's
Hi,
so
Dio.
cute.
The
Cute as demon
Don't mind the
dog.
tarantula cords of evil.
That was just Steve's bad description of a very cute dog. It's more like a mop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
I had a
It's
friend
more.
that had the Commodore, the big one
Oh,
that has
yeah.
and when they shed, they drop whole,
whole chunks.
like a
It's
whole.
like losing a dread.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really easy to clean up after them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not a
Just-
bad thing because my dog is not easy to clean up.
No.
Was dogs, weren't they designed to be sheepdogs and actually be able to hide in a flock?
Oh, probably, yeah.
That's what they were
Oh.
bred to do because they
cool.
kind of look sheepy. And then, surprise, fang and tooth.
Bah!
Bah humbug.
Indeed.
I was going to say, bah, motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
That's probably better.
Yeah.
So you're like walking around outside,
Yeah.
and
Like,
you
there's usually the two long stretches on like the promenade deck
Right.
to get out there.
and you
get
see
some air.
Dr. Richardson out there, and he's like smoking a cigar, like looking out over the water.
Dr. Richardson is.
He's the one that he
When he talked-
introduced you to.
okay. That's true. I was clearer of mind. I should remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
Good evening, Doctor.
Oh, good evening.
You're up quite late.
Oh, yes.
I find myself troubled by something that's more in your wheelhouse, as it were, than my own.
Oh, yes. Dreams?
Yes, yeah. Perhaps anxiety about travel.
Well,
I've
perhaps.
never traveled to Europe before.
It was a beautiful place. It is very different now. Yes, I had a dream myself last night about the war.
Oh, I can only imagine.
A terrible time. And then around that time, you walk up.
Doctors,
Good to see you.
it's very good to see you. I'm sorry I left the room somewhat abruptly, and when I returned to inquire about you, you were already gone. I was hoping I'd find you in good condition.
Dr. Richardson excuses himself. Kind of goes walking.
Doctor,
Good evening. Doctor.
Doctor.
doctor. So I checked with the ladies. Apparently they had a very similar dream to mine, where we entered the barn that was consumed by fire. And I basically go over the dream with him. And, like, apparently we all seem to have had the same story play out in our minds. And here's the most intriguing part. Apparently the prayer that I uttered within that dream, Doris could recite to me from memory. In Hebrew. Well, somewhat broken Hebrew, but still good enough.
That's precisely what Dr. Richardson was discussing earlier. Fascinating.
Do you think something's trying to communicate with us?
I certainly hope not. But, given what we've seen, man, I'm super torn.
Go with whatever sounds crazier.
Want to use my D2?
I feel like I want to be in complete denial about this whole dream situation.
Okay.
I'm actually cool with that.
Yeah.
Yep, do it.
Yeah.
Totally fits your character.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, perhaps you both could talk to Dr. Richardson tomorrow.
Well, I think that we'd probably be best off in saving all of this information and actually visiting them at the research institute in which they work. There we could have their entire team listen to what we have to say and perhaps get more knowledgeable feedback. Like Dr. Richardson himself admitted that isn't his particular forte, and the research was being conducted by another researcher. I would be willing to wait and maybe even gather further information from what may be further experiences, since this seems to be happening now on a nightly basis.
You know, I have had good luck with patients in the past with journaling their dreams immediately upon waking, writing down as many details as they can remember.
If you think that would be practical and help, I would be happy to do so.
It can't hurt to get as much information written as possible.
Well, it's still fresh in my mind. I will return the suite and put that
very
down
good.
on stationery.
But I see
you are well, though?
I am. I wanted to get some air. I think I'm a little nervous about this transatlantic crossing.
Well, you've never been to Europe before?
No, I have not.
Oh. Well, trust that you will be very impressed with how good a time you will have there. It's, especially if we're going to Great Britain. It's you share similar cultural roots, and please be at ease. Although traveling this long a distance over such a vast ocean, it reminds me of my own insignificance, and does fill me with a little bit of dread.
That's a great cheer-up speech.
He's not really here to cheer you up, dog. He's just as scared as you are.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe even more so.
well, tomorrow morning then.
Indeed. So I have to make sure that the pup does his business and return it post haste, and then I will journal away.
I think I will finally get some sleep.
I think that is for the best for all of us. So yeah, I'll take my leave of you, good doctor, and I just make sure that the puppy does his whatever he needs to do. Bring him back to the lady's room.
Okay.
And then go and write down everything I can remember from that dream, as per the doctor's instructions. Then try to catch some more sleep.
All right.
When you stopped by, did you find Dr. Freeman?
I did. He is fine. He just needed to get some help. I found him on the deck.
Oh, excellent.
Talking to one of our German colleagues.
Ah, well, thank you so much for taking him for a walk.
Anytime. He's such a good boy. He did all the things he needed to do, didn't you? Yes, you did. It was no problem. All right.
We will see you in the morning.
Indeed.
The real question is if you gain or lose sanity for spending time with dogs.
Well,
I feel like you gain sanity but lose other people's respect.
Oh,
Who's a good boy?
is that a stat on you?
No.
Yeah, I have respected too. Sorry.
All right. So,
if you had intimidate, otherwise your intimidate starts lower.
an announcement comes over the public address system letting you know that the ship will be launching. This is in the morning. This is probably just before you would head out for breakfast. This is within in approximately an hour and a half. The ship will be departing, and breakfast will be served late. If you wish to go out and bid farewell before as the ship leaves the harbor.
Just wave a hanky.
Right.
But usually when ships like this leave, it's kind of like kind of a big deal. There's usually like a bunch of people outside.
Right. Yeah.
I think I'm going to take a last minute and send a telegram to my parents and family.
Okay.
And let them know I'm going on this grand trip to further my studies.
Okay.
And that I hope to see them before Christmas.
Let me make a note of that real quick.
I'm going to send a telegram to my brother.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right.
And I'm going to say I made the acquaintance of an interesting woman, Desdemona Berlotti?
Beretti?
Beretti. Bassetti.
Bassetti, sorry.
If he comes across her, I would appreciate him looking towards her kindly, and that I will be in the old country for some time unknown very soon.
Okay. I'm just writing these down. So. And you sent some to colleagues.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So they blast the horn, and you see people. You know, the outer decks are packed with people, and there people are waving goodbye, and there's people on shore waving goodbye. And then the ship slowly starts heading east. And you have breakfast, and then they're serving a late lunch because of the shooting exhibition on the stern, on the Lido deck, or whatever. I don't know.
That's what it is now.
Sure.
Cool.
Hang out with Gopher.
I'd probably go early to get a good spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of seating set up, like temporary chairs and things on the deck, and then the deck above it as well. And you see they've set up a rack with there's a whole bunch of rifles set up and shotguns, and it's sort of set up like a display. It's not like here's just like we're just storing these. It's just like, and there's like little plaques. This is a Winchester such and such, and this is used to conquer the West,
Yeah.
You know, those kinds of things,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So it's almost like a little museum kind of thing. And you can see some of the guys from Pawnee Bill's table are there, and they're all dressed up with their fringe and their spurs and cowboy hats and the whole thing. And but you don't see Pawnee and you don't see Desdemona yet.
Okay.
This is at probably 11:30,
They're the openers.
probably.
I want to say that that morning I cleaned my guns,
Okay.
made sure that they're all nice working order, everything's there, and I probably have an outfit that, like, it's not like an Old West costume, but it's like has hints of elements of that.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe I'm trying to decide if I'd wear that or if I'd wear like my like adventurer kind of outfit with like the pants that have the poofy sides, and I think I'd probably go that way because I'd want to stand out. I wouldn't want to like look like one of the cast.
Right.
So I'm gonna wear, my like adventurer's thing that I wear with my breeches that have like the little poofy hip things, and my riding boot or like adventuring boots and stuff like that.
Okay. Pith helmet.
Probably no.
Okay.
Maybe one of those like
My hair is probably really stylish.
one of those Smokey the Bear type of hats with like the 4 little dimples.
Okay.
I think you have to grow a big mustache to wear one of those.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That is the law.
Or be a bear.
Yeah.
Or just,
be a bear.
you know,
Yeah.
be a bear.
Or if you're, well,
Or a
that
marine drill
breaks a
sergeant.
lot of rules.
Yes.
I am a bear. I
I
could
mean,
just
don't
eat
all
your
marine
face.
Nobody
drill
tells a bear
sergeants
what
have
not to
giant
wear.
mustaches.
Yeah, exactly.
To,
You wear what you want,
Like, as
though.
a matter of course. It comes with.
It's a requirement.
I basically I scope myself out a decent seat and I'm reading the paper as I wait.
Okay. Excuse me. So they noon comes and the guys that were out there before, they all have appropriate names.
Pecos something. Or
Right, Tennessee something or
Yeah.
other, right? Cincinnati something.
Slim or something.
Wyoming
right.
Willie.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Wyoming Willie.
And they're doing.
Sorry, I didn't say that to be like a
That
thing
would
to
throw
ruin
me
the
out.
mood.
Because that guy's, that guy's just kind of dopey.
Yeah.
He's just, "Hey,
Oh, Wyoming Willie. Okay.
North Dakota Tex.
Yeah.
There you go. What?
That just really makes me sense.
Like, what, are you just throwing darts at an American map? Just
Right.
Probably us.
Yeah.
But they're doing fast draw.
Okay.
And they have a target set up, and they're it looks like they're set up like about 25, 30 yards from the stern, and they've set up ropes, but they have targets and like cans set on the edge of the stern,
That's cool.
and they're firing at them quick draw.
Okay.
And they do that for a little while, and people are impressed.
So they're pretty good at it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they are. And then one of them comes out and it says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Pawnee Bill." And the crowd applauds, and he comes walking down the thing. And he's got a repeating rifle that he's kind of using as a walking stick, and it kind of looks like he needs it.
Okay.
And he comes walking out, and he says, "Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it, and I would like to announce that normally I would join in this exhibition, but I'm getting a little old." And the crowd's like, "Oh, blah blah blah, blah," and that whole thing. And he says, "But I did last night find me a legacy in the trick shooting world, and I would like to introduce her now. And her name is Doris Daniels, and she is the daughter of Deadly Dylan Daniels."
Yes.
And then he proceeds to tell a story about one of his trick shooting feats that he did when they were on the show together. So, and they introduce you, and he sees you, and he sort of waves his hat.
Yay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce one of the finest shooters of Europe, born in Italy. And he takes his hat off and he throws it in the air. .31. And you hear a rifle go off. You can't see where it's coming from. And the hat comes down and there's a bullet hole in it. And he looks at the bullet and puts his finger through it and goes, and the crowd's like, "Oh!" That whole,
Yeah.
And Desdemona Bassetti? Was it Bassetti?
Yes.
Yes. Desdemona Bassetti. And then she kind of comes out. Takes her like a minute.
Yeah.
She was obviously somewhere. And she comes out and they set up. And and then he announces that normally when you do skeet shooting, you use a shotgun. Because skeets are very small, and it's much easier to hit something with a shotgun, but how interesting would that be in a shooting competition amongst shooters of such caliber?
Right.
No pun intended.
Cool.
So he offers a selection of rifles, or if you wish to use your own, or if you would prefer to use a revolver.
I'll use my own revolver.
And Desdemona is using a Winchester repeating rifle, .44 caliber. And then you begin, and then they set up, pull, and You want to roll it out real quick?
Yeah, that's
All right.
So wait, I have a note here for my shooting. It says add 10 to Dex.
Oh, that's if that's for initiative if you get into combat.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Because guns are easier to attack with than
Yeah,
anything
that's
else.
fine. Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
You missed?
I rolled a 99.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Damn
So
it.
help me if you shoot me.
What the hell? I have a 70. Come on. It didn't have to be this way.
I kind of want to give you a hug now. I don't know what to do.
Oh, great. I don't think that's... I think... Oh, yeah. When I'm using my Colt, malfunction is 100.
Oh,
I have to actually roll a 100 to get a malfunction with the gun.
Oh, fantastic.
So no one died. I just
Well,
am really embarrassed.
Is that still... What's your skill level?
70.
That might still be a critical failure.
I think it
It's
is.
not a
It's not a
malfunction.
malfunction, no.
Yeah.
Right.
So your gun is still in working order.
Yes. My hand is still intact.
But the dog is dead.
no!
I was just trying to think of the worst possible outcome.
No, next card is in play. We are not allowed to hurt dogs.
No,
Honestly, I'd be a lot sadder if you shot the dog than you shot my character.
he's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
And he's going to remain alive as long as he's a good boy.
I was going to say, Stu, I'd have to pass off the hat from the goat killing.
Yeah.
If you just straight up killed the
Right.
dog. Minutes after introducing it.
No.
For those of you, that's a long ago callback to when I had a pet goat in our first Traveler campaign. Somebody killed it.
Somebody wasn't following orders.
What's your skill level?
70.
That is not a critical failure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
100 is a critical failure.
Okay.
If your skill level is over 50.
Okay.
So you just simply miss.
Yeah. All right. I
Unless
missed.
you want to spend an enormous amount of luck
No, I
to bring
don't
that
wanna
roll
do
down.
that.
No, thank you.
Ermiger.
She hit. Yeah, she hits
Okay.
on a 20.
Okay.
And it's going to be best out of 5.
Okay. I told you I was a bit out of practice. I'm taking different dice.
There you go.
Yeah, 69. Got that.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Could roll more ways than one. A 10? What is
16.
It? 16? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you both hit that time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
not honestly expecting to win this because I haven't done trick shooting for a long time. I just don't want to completely humiliate myself.
Oh my god.
97.
Gimme.
Got it.
No, it's a 7. No, it's a, it's a
Yeah.
seven, that's a 70.
78.
Okay, that misses.
So we both missed
Yes.
that time. Okay. Whew.
So that was 3 each now?
We've
Okay.
each gone
Shot
through.
3.
Yeah.
She's got 2 and you've got 1.
18.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice hit.
42. That will hit as well.
Okay.
So she's got
3.
3 and
Three.
you've got
Two.
2.
2. Yeah.
And this is the last one, right?
Yeah. No.
This is the 5th?
This is the fourth.
She's
This
got
is the
3
fourth.
and she
This is
missed
the fourth.
1.
Yes, so that's
That's
Yeah,
4.
so
So
this
there's
is
one
the
more.
fifth
This is the
one.
last one coming up.
Yeah. 14.
oh yeah.
86, she misses, so it's
Tie.
3-3.
What a show,
Overteam.
ladies and gentlemen! What a show!
I just needed to warm up a bit. Brush off the dust. I feel like there has to be a tiebreaker.
There has to be a
Yeah.
tiebreaker. I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out what Pawnee Bill would want the tiebreaker to be.
Good dice.
Who would get a volunteer from the audience? Who would sacrifice their hat? Throw it up in the air.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Something
Bottle
like
of
that.
champagne from the dining room.
Hmm?
Bottle of champagne from the dining room.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. But how do you know who hit it?
It's a bottle of champagne each.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. They just
Yeah, there you go.
2 different directions.
Off the side.
It's like one person going,
Yeah.
like when girls start car races.
There, okay. Ready?
All right. Ready? 46.
4.
Oh, she nailed it. We both hit, though.
Right. On a 4, she might hit both of them. I feel like
Yeah, that's awesome.
But you both hit them. They both
Okay.
explode.
Yeah.
She probably attempts to hit both of them, but you hit it anyway, so
Yeah,
who knows?
No one knows.
Right,
Yeah.
if she
Just
would have
me.
got it
I'm the
right.
only one who saw it.
Right.
Yeah, down the sights, you see, like, the
Yeah.
bottle just spins slightly to the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh, yeah. It breaks, and then the other piece shatters.
Yeah.
Well, they still don't have a tiebreaker.
I feel we have to, like a target this time. Whoever gets closest to bullseye.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
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 A target held by Wild Bill.
Oh.
Or by
Pawnee
Pawnee Bill.
Bill.
Pawnee Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, crit this out. It'll be awesome.
He comes out with a little stick with a target on it about that big. It's got a bunch of little concentric circles, and he holds it above his head. And the crowd's like,
I'm
And
super
the players
excited.
and the players are like,
No, I'm
"No,
totally in.
this is still Cthulhu."
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to walk up to Doris real quick and like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to.
I'm not sure exactly how I can get out of it at this point.
I look Doris in the eye and I'm like, I've seen you do amazing things under pressure.
Yes.
You got this.
Okay. Yes.
I believe in you.
I have this.
You got this.
I have this. Okay.
You can do it.
All right. She's
You
gonna
can
like
go first.
Oh,
You
she's
can
gonna
go
go over like she's looking at the target and she's gonna like just say out of
Wets her finger, puts it
Are
up
you
in the
sure
air.
you want to do this, Pawnee Bill? I am a bit rusty still. We both missed a few shots there.
He says very quietly, if you have any blanks on you, we can't make allowances.
Well, I mean, I just don't want to hurt you.
I would also prefer not being shot.
I would also
I
prefer.
thought your daddy would have told you about this from the show.
Well, no, we did that in the shows, but how are you supposed to break a bottle of champagne with a blank?
Oh no, this is.
All right, well,
100.
don't
Do you want to make a luck roll and see if you actually have a blank on
Let's
you?
do that first.
Okay.
See, yeah, okay. I don't know if I want to use this.
I'm enthralled by the show.
Yeah.
76.
What's your luck?
No,
Doesn't seem-
45. I
You
have
can
no-
very surreptitiously attempt to make one by just basically prying the bullet out of one of the rounds.
That's not how blanks work.
It is not how blanks work.
Still kill him, like.
It's
Tell
a
you
real.
what.
It's a real makeshift. It's a real makeshift blank.
Yeah,
Tell you what.
I'll go for it. It'll be fine.
I'm actually going to go, while you're going up to talk to Pawnee Bill, I'm going to go over and talk to Desdemona.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to, like, lean over. Like, that was a very, very impressive feat of showmanship.
Oh, thank you.
And this, will this also be such an impressive feat of showmanship?
I think he's a fool for having put this in the show. I do not suffer fools.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I like
All
that.
right.
That's
I
awesome.
like the cut of her jib.
Yeah, no, I think Doris is too proud to like try and pull any shit right now.
Okay, all right.
So she's probably more worried about messing with the bullet because that'll make it more likely she's gonna fuck up and shoot him.
Or shoot, like, backfire on herself.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a million bad things that could happen. So yeah, she's gonna go for it. Here, you have to roll. Oh, I go
Okay,
first.
yeah, it's
Million
not at
bad
the
things
same
that can happen
time.
when you
It's one at a time.
Play with guns.
oh my
3.
god, it's a 3.
You got a 3?
I rolled a 3. Like,
Okay.
right through the center of that
I
target.
got real scared for a minute.
Me too.
Because
Yeah.
that 3 looked
Very.
roundish.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, holy crap. I did not do this. I did not call upon the gods.
That was a real thing. That is a thing that happened.
97. Oh, is that a
her-
1?
what's
No, that's a
her
97.
skill?
Let me see. Let me check that weapon real quick.
Well, she has above a 50, right?
I was talking about
No,
the
well,
the weapon.
the gun. The gun may misfire.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Because
guns have different.
she's using a
things.
Winchester.
Less
Like my
reliable.
carbine, its malfunction is at 98, even though, so it's different. I can't believe I rolled with that. Was fantastic.
Awesome. I told you had this. I told you got it. You got
The
it.
dice know what should happen. The dice know the best story to tell.
The drama.
Yeah. It's very good. I need a shirt that says that, something like the dice know how the story goes.
Okay, the malfunction's on a 98, and I rolled a 97, so the gun doesn't malfunction,
Okay,
but
that's
it's
good.
not going to be a critical failure anyway.
Yeah.
So she simply misses the
Okay.
target.
Okay.
And not in the direction of pipe.
Well, it's probably like right here.
Yeah.
It's like
Barely
right
misses
next
his
by
head.
his head.
Yeah.
He's got a new haircut.
The angriest bee.
Right.
And everyone stops for a second. And of course, every time the target's hit, he does this sort of thing.
Yeah. It's dramatic.
And he does that again, and he kind of looks at her, and he holds up the target for everyone to see, and there's still only the one hole right in the very center.
Yay.
And then he takes off his hat again, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this shooting expedition, Doris Daniels," and he brings you up to the front.
Oh, I'm so humble. I can't believe I won.
Stand up. Applaud.
Yay.
And then he sort of raises your hand up, and he says, "I have not seen this kind of shooting since your father. I must say the apple does not fall far from the tree."
Well, it is with his gun that I won this competition, so it is rightfully so.
That is a remarkable and wonderful fact to share. I appreciate it, madam. And then he says goodbye, and everyone enjoy your lunch and come and see the show. They'll be playing in Manchester 2 days after their arrival in Liverpool.
Nice.
And have a good day, et cetera, et cetera. And then he, of course, thanks you personally again.
Yeah.
Quietly, like shakes your hand, and
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. It was very nice to be on stage again. I'm very glad you were not injured.
And thank you for not missing. And his hand is shaking a little.
Make sure you mark your firearm skill.
Oh,
for
yeah.
advancement purposes.
Oh, you got a check mark there.
Check that.
I totally want to talk to you about learning how to shoot better.
Okay.
'Cause I didn't know any of that.
There are actually rules for teaching people skills.
There are, yes. I don't know what they are offhand, but yeah.
No,
Well, it
I
wouldn't come
think
into play right
it's
now.
a thing.
Yeah, they need to make a skill roll and then you make a follow-up thing.
I mean, we're on a boat that has a make sure
Right.
shooting
I mean,
range.
that's something
Right.
we could totally do for a while we're in
Bored as fuck
transit.
for 4 days.
Right.
We're out of port now, though, so it's
Who
the
wants
rest
to
of
teach me how to
today
paint?
is spending that time sidling up to a bottle of scotch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By lunchtime, definitely you're well past the 3-mile limit. In fact, they probably ring a bell or something
Yeah.
when you pass the 3-mile limit.
They did do that, yeah.
The casino is now open.
Right. So, is there anything anyone wants to do during these 4 days? Or if anyone you want to talk to or anything like that. Otherwise, I'll just fast forward to Liverpool.
Practice shooting.
Okay. Oh, they probably have arranged, and you could do the same thing. They probably have arranged to teach people who want to learn to shoot. That's probably one of the things they're doing to sort of pay their way across.
Yeah.
I am going to continue to attempt to get a likeness down of that woman in yellow for my
Okay.
dream.
You can make another roll, still with a bonus.
Hopefully a better one.
Do we have more dreams?
This.
I got a
Oh, nice.
10!
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, you
so I
did.
finally get it.
Okay. Yeah, you nailed the picture. The not like that. You have normal, ordinary dreams, but not like that. On the beginning of the third day, early in the morning, all of you kind of wake up with like a shiver, as the dreams you have may be very different, but falling into the water, waking up, or like you're in a dream and you wake up and you're like laying in snow, but you have a dream, so almost simultaneously waking up at the same time of being extremely cold.
I mean, I knew that England would be... the weather would be slightly different, but... do you have an extra blanket? Do you think you could ring for them to light the fire?
Sure, of course. I mean, we are out on the open ocean as well. The winds can be quite brutal here. Ring for someone to come and bring the fire up.
I mean, not that I'm unaccustomed to cold. I mean, New York does get its fair share.
Indeed.
Yeah, I actually also ring for some extra blankets.
I feel like we would have kind of touched base too, especially after a shared dream. What we dreaming about? Or we dreaming about anything?
Daily dream meeting.
You know, I was just so cold.
Oh, all right. Well, at least we weren't sharing our dreams again.
No. I mean, unless...
No.
I mean, I hardly think dreaming of being cold and then waking up cold counts.
I think actually what would be cool is if both the porters showed up with blankets and to do stuff at the same time, and our doors sort of open, and we're like, "You're getting blankets?"
That probably does happen.
Yeah.
What a good suggestion.
I'm just going to have a nice shower. Be ready for the day.
That Atlantic air.
Yeah. No, I was.
Could you also... just talking to one of the porters, could you also bring me up a pot of tea if you don't mind?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
And they also bring blankets to you.
All right.
Snuggle closer to her.
Oh,
Such a good
Is he sleeping on the bed, or is he sleeping on the foot of the bed?
Nice sleeping on the
Okay.
I mean,
he's a
how
good
could you
boy.
deny? How could you deny that good boy?
See, in real life, my dogs do not sleep on the bed.
Oh no.
But in games, I can sleep on the bed.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with dog hair in your comforter.
Yeah,
Right.
That's hilarious, because, my cat and I literally spoon.
Oh.
yeah. Sometimes I wake up, my cat's on my face,
Yeah.
asleep.
I went to bed once with my door open, which was a mistake because Baloo took it as an invitation because he used to sleep on the bed, his previous owner. So I hear this grum, 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 and a dozen elbows descend on me at once. He literally jumped on top of me.
Oh. So good.
And then he flips over and does the...
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I had to wash my comforter that morning.
Yeah. Frida likes to, we're either, she'll come up and, spoon and, butt her head up under my chin, or she'll lay facing me, in which case I will wake up when she decides she needs to stretch her arm out, which means her claws are either on my mouth or my elbow.
Yeah. I've had some other experiences.
All right.
Okay.
So, and then what time is it?
It's... That matter.
We're well trained by horror movies to decide that the time you have a nightmare is.
Very important.
Yeah.
Well, I was curious in the first instance
If
if
they
it
were
was
the same.
if it was
Yeah.
exactly the same every time.
Right.
That
Now
would
I'm
be-
curious if it's a progression, a countdown.
Oh yeah, good point.
Is it relativistic
If Stu has to look it up and it takes this long, then I'm going to guess it's not important. But
Maybe it is. Maybe he's just scared of getting it wrong.
yeah.
It is 11:40 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Early in the evening.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And the porters also seem very busy.
So wait, I'm sorry. Is this the night of the third day, then? Or is this the night of
This
the
is
second day?
This
Probably
is
the
our
night of the second
night.
day.
Okay,
Yes.
night of the second
Yes.
day on sea.
Yeah.
So we've had one night at sea, and now we have the second night at sea.
Yeah.
So it's Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. When you wake up, it will be Monday.
Somewhere south of Greenland.
Right.
They're very busy. Okay. Interesting.
They
Yeah,
have,
like-
Land?
they have that cool wood carved map Like the guy comes out with a stick and like moves the
Right.
ship along.
Aw, that's cool. I didn't think about that. Okay.
Well, they didn't have digital screens to show you that. They actually
Yeah.
had to make stuff.
I'm gonna just kind of make note that the porter seems super busy.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely go back to bed.
Okay.
Oh yeah, full on.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to do, or should we fast forward?
I'm cool with fast forward.
I'm
Yeah.
fine to fast
Okay.
forward if we could look up in between sessions, maybe the how to learn a skill from somebody else.
Okay. Yeah, we can totally do that. Okay. And then you arrive in the Liverpool waterfront. The horn as the ship comes in, and for some reason there's a whole crowd of people waving as you're on the dock as you
That was
are coming up. So this would be Monday. Well, no, this is probably. They said 5 days.
So if we took sail on the 2nd. So the 2nd is 1 day, 3rd is 2, 4th is 3, and 5th is 4. So we would be June 6th now.
Yeah, let's say June 6th in the evening or late afternoon. And my mouse just disappeared.
The amount of effort I put into having accurate dating in my journal is
Helpful though.
Gygaxian.
Gygaxian.
It's the only thing that makes this a meaningful campaign.
Yeah.
Is that accurate time records are kept.
It is actually in this particular
100%
instance.
it
It's
is.
very
Yeah.
helpful.
Yes.
Like there's some campaigns I'm like, who cares? But this one, it matters.
Okay. So there's the train station is nearby. You can get a car or a cab to take you. They probably have a shuttle. They probably have some sort of shuttle services as well, because it's probably pretty common. I mean, this is the big port that people come in.
A bus.
Oh yeah.
It's exciting. I've never been on a bus. Well, I like
So one of
cars.
those is
Let's
one of those
go.
double-decker buses. Those actually exist.
I don't know.
I don't know if they have those outside of London, do they?
Not a clue.
I have no idea.
I was assuming just like a slightly inflated ambulance.
Right.
Yeah.
So you probably all made arrangements.
Yeah.
for this ahead of time. So I'm going to say that you get on the train headed from Liverpool, Manchester to London, and let's go ahead and end it there.
Okay.
That sounds great.
End it? Okay.
disembarked in Liverpool.
This was a really good.
And we
session.
boarded a
You like
bus.
it?
Enjoyed it a lot.
Did we board a bus or a train?
Probably a bus to the train station.
Yeah.
To Liverpool train station. And it's today it's only like a 4.5 hour train ride from Liverpool to Manchester to London. So I'm imagining in 1923 it's probably like an 8 or 10 hour. I'm sure because the train that's operated now is operated by Virgin.
Yeah, but it's not significantly faster.
Oh, so it's probably about the same
I
time.
mean, maybe a little
I mean,
bit.
maybe
but
6. Let's say 6 hours
Yeah, I think
instead
that's-
of
yeah.
because they haven't. Train speeds haven't increased all that much, but they run more frequently and they're
Okay.
slightly more efficient. But it's not like trains suddenly go 3 times as fast.
We're
or
just talking
twice
about
as
bullet
fast.
trains, which is not even a
Right.
thing that we're
I
discussing.
mean, no.
Because in general, most places it's the same tracks.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So your train's not
You're
going
limited by
200
the
miles.
arc of the train tracks.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you for joining us for session 6, and in 2 weeks we'll be playing session 7
Yep.
of Murmurs at the Abyss in Call of
2
Cthulhu.
weeks.
2 weeks.
And we can. And next week?
Next week we'll talk. I don't know yet.
Never mind.
I don't know.
I got excited.
Yeah,
but-
check out happyjacks.org/schedule. We always update the schedule there, so you know what's happening. Something canceled, we pull it. If something's going to start at a different time, we put it up there. So all the upcoming games will be there.
Yay. And if y'all haven't yet, check out the brand new One Shot Saturdays.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Those have been going very well. They're very exciting.
They're fun.
Yeah, so if you don't have time to add a new campaign to your buffet of campaigns, you can
But you want to see people have
But-
goofy one-day fun.
Yes,
Right.
they're like 4 to 6 hours long, one shots. Great fun.
They're literally waving their hands in the air like they really don't care.
Yes.
Like unto Kermit the Frog.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Along the shore, the cloud waves break. The twin suns sink behind the lake, and the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise. Strange moons circle through the skies. Much stranger still is lost Carcosa. Song of my soul, my voice is dead. Die thou unsung as tears unshed.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.